So, it seems that Russian forces have been specializing in locomotive obliteration, crippling Ukrainian military logistics. What's your take on this whole train wreck of a situation?
Well, if I didn't know better, I'd say Russian forces have taken up a new hobby: train spotting with explosives. It's like the ultimate version of Operation Sabotage. You bring the tracks, I'll bring the boom. I mean, who needs rockets when you can blow up a locomotive and send a whole supply chain back to the Stone Age? It's like they decided, why fight with tanks when we can just play a game of train demolition derby? Talk about derailing a military strategy.
The reports are saying that Ukraine's railways have faced 171 attacks this month alone. Is this a strategic move on Russia's part or just them flexing their military might?
Ah yes, nothing says we're serious about our military action like repeatedly smashing trains. It's like they've replaced traditional warfare with the world's worst game of whack-a-mole. You see a train, bam, it's gone. And honestly, it's the kind of logistics nightmare that would make even the most seasoned supply chain manager weep into their spreadsheets. Who knew that being a military strategist also involved a degree in railway management? I hope they have good insurance for all those rail cars.
What kind of impact do you think this will have on Ukraine's military operations moving forward?
Well, if they keep this up, Ukraine might have to start practicing their military maneuvers on bicycles and pogo sticks. Can you imagine? Quick, everyone, grab a pogo stick, we'll hop our way to victory. But really, logistics are like the unsung heroes of military campaigns. If you can't move your troops or supplies, you might as well be sending them through a game of musical chairs. And I doubt they'll win if the music stops and they're all stranded at the train station.
You mentioned the ArcelorMittal steel plant in Kryvyi Rog had to halt operations due to transport issues. How critical is this for Ukraine's economy?
Oh, it's just a small hiccup. I mean, what's a little production downtime for one of the largest steel plants in the country, right? It's not like steel is essential for anything like, oh, I don't know, building weapons or infrastructure. But hey, on the bright side, maybe they can repurpose some of that steel for making really sturdy umbrellas. Because with all this chaos, they're gonna need it. It's like turning lemons into lemonade, except these lemons are more like landmines.
With all this chaos in the logistics, how are the troops on the ground coping with the situation?
Let's just say, the troops might be getting really creative. They could be putting together their own version of the Great Race. You know? The one where you have to complete challenges with whatever's available. Today's challenge: deliver military supplies using only a bicycle and a map from 1992. It's either that or they're becoming experts in navigating the art of scavenging. One way or another, they're learning the true meaning of adapt and survive, or as I like to call it, welcome to the jungle gym of war.
So, with the chaos of Trump's antics leading to a Diet Coke shortage in India, what are your thoughts on this unexpected twist in the aluminum supply crisis?
Well, if this isn't the plot twist of the century, I don't know what is. I mean, who would have thought that a geopolitical showdown could unleash a national tragedy of this magnitude? Trump's war on Iran sounds like the title of a bad action movie, has apparently left India scrambling for Diet Coke like it's the last lifeboat on the Titanic. You know, I always thought of aluminum as just the shiny wrapper for my lunch leftovers, not the linchpin of global diplomacy. Now, all I can picture is some poor soul in India, clutching empty Coke cans like they just won the lottery. It's a good thing no one's got a serious soda addiction, otherwise, we might see people trading kidneys for a six-pack. Seriously though, if we keep this up, I might have to start a charity. cans for the thirsty.
What do you think this situation says about the global economy and how interconnected it really is?
Oh, it's a beautiful tapestry of chaos, isn't it? You know, the kind where one wrong move in a chess game sends pawns flying across the board into the wrong territories. The global economy is like a giant jigsaw puzzle with a few pieces missing. And right now, we've stepped on one of those pieces and it's squeaking for mercy. I mean, who knew that an aluminum shortage could lead to a beverage crisis in a land that thrives on chai? It's like baking a cake and forgetting the flour. Suddenly you're in the business of making pancakes that no one asked for. All it takes is a sneeze in one corner of the world, and suddenly someone else's Diet Coke is toast. They're probably looking at the stockpile of regular Coke right now and thinking, is it too late to convert? It's just a delightful reminder that our lives are all interconnected, like one big dysfunctional family reunion.
Do you think this shortage could have any long-term effects on consumer behavior?
Absolutely. It's like a bad relationship. Once trust is broken, it's hard to go back. People may start hoarding Diet Coke like it's the last roll of toilet paper in a pandemic. I can see it now. Black markets popping up in India where people trade rare goods for a can of the elusive diet beverage. Hey man, I'll give you 2 of my mom's secret curry recipes for a single can of that sweet nectar. And let's face it, once you've tasted the forbidden fruit, soda, you might just decide that regular Coke is for suckers. Pretty soon, you'll see people putting their life savings into Diet Coke futures, thinking it's the next Bitcoin. After all, who wouldn't want a piece of that fizzy dream? It's a complete roller coaster that may have folks questioning their soda loyalties.
How do you think brands will respond to this crisis, especially with their marketing strategies?
Oh, I can already hear the marketing teams plotting their battlefield strategies. They might as well start sending out press releases like their superhero movies. Coming to a store near you, Diet Coke, the revenge of the aluminum crisis. We might see some brands going all apocalypse now and lean into it with campaigns like Save the Can and Drink Responsibly. While you still can. Honestly, they could take a page out of the toilet paper sales playbook and start offering up subscription services. You know, sign up now to have Diet Coke delivered to your door at a premium price while supplies last. Because nothing screams luxury like desperate carbonation. Brands may even start supercharging their marketing with messages about how real cola lovers adapt or some feel-good line to distract from the fact that their product isn't even available. It's the creative juices flowing, literally.
Finally, what advice would you give to those struggling to cope with this shortage?
The age-old dilemma. What to do when your beloved diet beverage is out of reach. Here's the good news. This is a prime opportunity for personal growth. You could explore the world of homemade soda, become a DIY fizz master, and turn your kitchen into a mini soda lab. Sure, it may not taste quite like the real deal, but it'll definitely spice up your life. Might even invent a new trend. We could call it soda renaissance. Or, alternatively, embrace the silver lining and try something new. Like, I don't know, drinking water? It'll make you feel like you're one with the universe or something. And remember, if life gives you lemons, just add sugar and some sparkling water and voila, you've got a refreshing alternative and hey, 100% less aluminum. So there's your takeaway. If you find yourself in a Diet Coke drought, consider this an opportunity for adventure. Or just start trading it like it's a rare Pokemon card.
So, you heard about America's Prayer Day pledge? One nation under God, or just political theater?
Yes, America's Prayer Day pledge. It's like a Broadway show, isn't it? You have the president center stage, lights shining bright, reciting Psalm 96 while the audience dutifully claps along. The whole nation gathered around the TV, praying that someone, anyone, finds the remote to change the channel. The question is, are we genuinely connecting with the divine? Or are we simply doing the political tango, hoping it distracts us from real issues like, I don't know, the price of avocados? It's almost poetic, like a sonnet about unity, written by a group of politicians who can't agree on what to order for lunch.
What do you think about the statement that God plays a huge role in the creation of America?
Oh, absolutely. God was definitely there with a blueprint and some divine architectural guidance, right? I mean, who else would build a nation with so many fast food chains? Clearly, divine inspiration. But let's be honest, it's like claiming a chef made a salad and then dumping a gallon of ranch dressing on it. Sure, there might been some divine intervention at the start, but the rest looks a little more like a group project gone wrong, where everyone contributes their own ideas, and someone always ends up bringing chips, and not the good kind.
Is the National Day of Prayer really effective, or just a ceremonial obligation?
Oh, the National Day of Prayer is like that one friend who shows up to parties way too often, always wanting to get deep, mostly just awkwardly standing around with a drink in hand. You know, it sounds great on paper, but in reality, it's just a lot of people folding their hands and pretending that closing their eyes means they've done their civic duty for the week. It's like going to the gym just to take selfies and then claiming you've had a great workout. We could put a little more effort into it, don't you think?
Do you believe people take the pledge seriously, or is it more lip service?
Oh, it's definitely more lip service. Like a karaoke night where nobody actually plans to hit the high notes. Everyone's singing along, but if you ask them about the lyrics the next day, you might as well be speaking in Latin. It's like when you promise to cut back on junk food and end up devouring a whole pizza while watching TV. The pledge is more of a collective, hey, let's all pretend we're united under one deity while scrolling through our phones moment. At this point, I'd wager that a TikTok dance challenge about unity would get more serious consideration.
What do you think is the real impact of these public declarations of faith?
The real impact? Well, it's like trying to fix a leaky faucet with bubblegum. Kind of fun to watch but ultimately pointless. Sure, it makes for great headlines and allows politicians to slap their God-fearing badge on their chests, but does it actually change anything? Nope. It's more about optics than substance. Like putting a fancy bow on a gift that's just a rock inside. I mean, if we really wanted to make waves, we'd do something radical, like cutting back on political drama. But where's the fun in that, right?
Could this be seen as a distraction from current problems, you think?
Oh, definitely. It's the classic magician's trick. Look over here while I pull a rabbit out of my hat and ignore the elephant in the room. Or in this case, 3 elephants, a couple of clowns, and maybe even a unicycle. This whole prayer thing is like a cozy blanket covering a pile of dirty laundry we refuse to deal with. We're so busy talking about how many stars are on the flag while the real issues, like healthcare and education, are waving bye-bye in the background. But hey, who doesn't love a good prayer session while ignoring their problems, right?
So, Iran's navy just launched a surprise attack on U.S. destroyers near the Hormuz Strait. What's your take on that?
Oh, you know, just a typical Tuesday in geopolitics, right? I mean, why have a peaceful brunch when you can send drones and missiles flying? It's like the world is a giant game of Risk, and someone just flipped the board. Those US destroyers probably thought they were just out for a little joyride, but surprise! It's like going to the beach only to find out it's a shark tank instead of a sandy paradise. Tensions are rising faster than a souffle in a pressure cooker, and you have to wonder if anyone is actually reading the room, or if they're all just too busy scrolling through their Twitter feeds.
What do you think Iran is hoping to achieve with this attack?
Well, I imagine they're hoping to score some serious bragging rights at the next international barbecue. I mean, nothing says we're a global power like firing missiles and turning a perfectly good day into a chaotic display of fireworks. It's like showing up to a potluck with a 5-tier cake while everyone else brought potato chips. They want to remind everyone they're not just sitting quietly brewing tea in the back. They've got a little firepower of their own. And let's be real, nothing spices up boring news cycles like a good old military showdown. Talk about the front row seats to the greatest show of tension.
With all this military tension, how do you see it affecting the everyday lives of people in the region?
Oh, I'm sure they'll just carry on as usual. Maybe they'll exchange their morning coffee for a nice shot of adrenaline. Just imagine families planning their weekend barbecues while nervously glancing at the sky, wondering if that drone they hear is delivering snacks or some explosive surprises. It's like living in a real-life action movie, but without the convenient plot armor. Probably a few duck and cover drills mixed in with the Saturday soccer games, because what's life without a little excitement, right? And let's not forget the ticker tape of news updates. Who doesn't love a little existential dread while scrolling through their social media?
What does this mean for US-Iran relations going forward?
Oh, just another Friday in the never-ending saga of US-Iran relations. It would be shocking if they actually remembered to send a birthday card to each other at this point. This is like a never-ending soap opera, where each episode leaves you wondering, wait, did they just reconcile? Or are they plotting the next dramatic confrontation? It's basically, as the world burns at this point, they'll probably sit around a table, awkwardly sipping tea, while a silent agreement hovers in the air like an uninvited guest at a party that refuses to leave. And let's be honest, diplomatic talks can feel like a cat chasing its tail. Not really going anywhere, but certainly entertaining for the spectators.
What role do you think other nations will play in this situation?
Ah, yes, the audience clapping nervously from the sidelines. Countries will undoubtedly scramble to pick sides faster than a kid at a buffet, eager to load up on whatever looks most appealing. It's like a global game of musical chairs, but instead, it's diplomatic alliances. And spoiler alert, there are no chairs left for the neutrals. Expect lots of elaborate statements and a flurry of concerned tweets. While behind closed doors, they're all making plans for the next golf tournament in some neutral country. It's the geopolitical version of, I'll bring the chips if you bring the salsa. And we're all just left wondering who's actually going to step up to the mic to sing the next karaoke duet.
Is there anything good that could potentially come out of this conflict?
Well, aside from the adrenaline rush of watching the news like it's the season finale of a reality show, I suppose every conflict has the potential to shake things up a bit. Maybe they'll stumble into some form of talking points that lead to actual diplomacy. Though that sounds about as likely as winning the lottery while skydiving. We could see countries rallying together in newfound friendship like a Hallmark movie, or we might just get a new wave of, "We're all in this together," slogans plastered everywhere, which is truly the silver lining we all need in global tensions. I mean, who doesn't love a little shared trauma, right? In a weird way, this could lead to a renewed interest in peace talks, which would be a plot twist worthy of a sitcom finale.
So it seems like the headlines are all screaming about the US being led by a lunatic. What's your take on that?
Well, if the United States isn't a circus, then I don't know what a circus is. We're talking about a country where the leader thinks diplomacy is just Twitter arguments, and foreign policy is equivalent to a toddler throwing tantrums in a candy store. It's like watching a game of Jenga where the tower is made of explosive devices and everyone's cheering on the strategist, who thinks pulling the bottom piece is a good idea.
Is there any hope for a change in leadership anytime soon?
Hope? In politics? That's cuter than a kitten in a bow tie. Change in leadership seems about as likely as finding a needle in a haystack, where the haystack is on fire and the needle is constantly getting lost in translation. Seriously, we might need to look into a magician, because at this point, pulling a rabbit out of a hat would be less shocking than what's happening in office.
Do you think the public is really aware of just how unstable things have become?
Awareness, you say? The public is just trying to figure out how to survive the next TikTok challenge. It's like trying to find logical discourse on a reality TV show. Good luck. Most folks see the news, scroll through their feed, and it's like a buffet of, "Oh my goodness, did that really happen?" And, "I'll have the denial special please." Who's got time to process the chaos when there's cat videos to binge, right?
What about the international perspective on this lunacy?
Internationally, they're probably watching the US, like it's a soap opera full of plot twists, oversized hairdos, and questionable character arcs. I mean, other countries must feel like they're in a sitcom, where the craziness is unbearable but oddly captivating, like a train wreck you can't look away from. They're probably taking bets on who's going to be the next victim of the American reality show drama. Spoiler alert: everyone loses.
What would you say is the biggest issue facing the nation right now?
Oh, I'd say it's the nation's collective sense of sanity. Honestly, it feels like a game of whack-a-mole, where every time one issue gets smacked down, 3 more pop up with neon lights and sirens. From the economy to climate change to social issues, it's like a buffet line of doom that keeps getting longer, and everyone's just hoping to get a safe plate while dodging the meltdowns right next to them. Who knew adulthood came with this much chaos?
Any final thoughts on how to navigate this lunacy?
Well, my final thoughts would be to buckle up and perhaps invest in some popcorn because it's going to be a wild ride. Navigating this lunacy might require a roadmap that's constantly changing, a good sense of humor, and a vast supply of ice cream, because who doesn't want comfort food while watching history turn into a blooper reel? Just remember, laughter might not fix everything, but it sure makes the ride more enjoyable.
So, what's the latest chaos involving Russian drones in Ukraine?
Ah, yes, breaking news is really just the universe's way of reminding us we're not in control, isn't it? So it seems that Russia's drones have taken on the role of the unexpected party crashers at a wedding, except this time, instead of throwing confetti, they're dropping chaos left and right in Ukraine. They've adopted some unprecedented tactics that have everyone scratching their heads like they've just walked into a room and forgotten why they entered. Imagine drones zipping around like caffeinated squirrels, attempting to give both sides a headache while making a mockery of the term air traffic control.
What kind of tactics are we talking about here?
Oh, they're not just sending out these drones like Uber Eats for bombs, no. These flying gadgets are playing the strategic game like it's a twisted version of chess. 1 second, they're swooping in like a hawk, and the next, they're ghosting the battlefield like they're avoiding a bad Tinder date. It's like they're saying, "Look, I can be stealthy, or I can rain down chaos. But I can't do both. Pick your poison." This whole circus has turned military operations into a real-life episode of Whack-a-Mole, and spoiler alert, the moles never win.
What's the reaction from Ukraine on all of this?
Well, imagine being in a game of dodgeball, and instead of soft squishy balls, you're dodging drones. Ukraine's response has been something like, "Hey, We didn't sign up for this aerial acrobatics show. They're probably wishing they could just hand out performance reviews to these drones like they're terrible employees. Excuse me, can I get a word with HR? No, not the human resources. Just the resource, that drone over there. It's like their military strategy could use a bit of a makeover, perhaps a rebranding to aerial danger management.
What are the implications of these drone tactics on future military operations?
Oh, this is just the beginning of a delightful new chapter in military strategy, isn't it? We might be witnessing the dawn of drone wars. The rise of the quadcopters, a thrilling saga where the stakes are higher than my blood pressure when I'm trying to assemble IKEA furniture. This could lead to a future where every country will be scrambling to up their drone game like it's a reality TV competition. Get ready for unprecedented bidding wars on drone for all at the global arms market. I can just hear the pitch. This drone not only flies, it also makes breakfast. Who's in?
How is the international community reacting to all of this?
Well, you can bet the international community is watching this like it's the latest blockbuster movie, but without the popcorn because, they're all on a diet after the last geopolitical crisis. Countries are gathering for emergency meetings where they're probably debating over who has the cutest drone tech and who can make the most noise while still doing absolutely nothing. You have to admire the effort, though. It's like watching a group of cats trying to collaborate on a group project. There's a lot of fluff and a whole lot of distractions. But are we making actual progress? Well, stay tuned for the next episode.
What's next for these drone tactics and military strategies?
Oh, who can say? It's all very high-stakes guessing now. The next few chapters could involve drones being equipped with everything from paintball guns to drone disco balls, because why not add a little flair to warfare, right? The strategists are probably brainstorming ideas like they're pitching new flavors for ice cream. How about we mix in a little stealth with a hint of sabotage? Just imagine the possibilities. You might have countries treating their drone fleets like collectible trading cards, trying to outdo each other with rare additions. Just don't forget to check the drone's warranty when it crashes. Oh wait, that's a different topic altogether.
So, Trump just declared victory following the U.S. destroyer's clash with Iranian forces. What's your take on this monumental showdown?
Oh, just another day in paradise where we have U.S. destroyers pulling off a naval ballet while Iran's fleet takes a nosedive into the deep blue sea. I mean, if we're handing out medals for most dramatic oceanic showdown, I think we have a clear winner here. It's like watching soap opera unfold on the high seas as the waves turn. Who knew military engagements could be so theatrical? I half expected a dramatic soundtrack and a slow-motion shot of those destroyers cruising through missile fire like they were in a video game. Cue the fireworks.
The report mentions that the Iranian forces suffered heavy losses, including the complete destruction of several smaller vessels. How significant is this for Iran's naval capabilities?
Yes, the Iranian Navy, or as I like to call it, the little engine that couldn't. Losing those vessels is like losing your favorite pair of socks in the laundry. Suddenly, you're left wondering how in the world you'll survive without them. Their navy was already limping along, and now they're practically doing the backstroke in the Persian Gulf with their remaining resources. If they were a sandwich shop, they'd be out of bread and only have pickles left to serve. Not an ideal situation for future maritime parties, let me tell you.
Trump mentioned that missiles fired at U.S. destroyers were easily intercepted. What does this say about America's military technology?
Well, If there's anything to take away from this, it's that America's military tech is apparently trained to be as overachieving as a valedictorian at a school for geniuses. I mean, they made those missiles look like they were trying to take a driving test and failing miserably. It's like watching a toddler try to throw a ball, but instead going for that slow-motion epic fail moment. Sorry, Iran, nice try. But our tech has an advanced degree in not today. It's sad, really, but hey, at least we can all sleep soundly knowing our destroyers are equipped with gadgets that would make James Bond jealous.
The imagery used by Trump about the drones falling beautifully into the ocean is quite something. What's your take on the poetic nature of his comments?
Yes. Poetry in the midst of war. Who knew Trump could channel his inner Shakespeare while discussing drones? It's like he's trying to sell us a travel brochure for a new vacation spot. Come for the sun. Stay for the breathtaking drone ballet. I mean, seriously, it's poetic in the same way a toddler's finger painting is modern art. Sure, it's charming, but at the end of the day, we're still just looking at a mess. If those drones were falling any more gracefully, we'd have to start serving them at 5-star restaurants.
Do you think this declaration of victory could impact U.S.-Iran relations moving forward?
Oh, absolutely. Because nothing says let's negotiate peacefully, like a good old-fashioned naval beatdown. It's like inviting someone over for dinner after you've accidentally set their house on fire. I'm sure Iran is just itching to break out the scones and tea while they contemplate a new friendship. If these two countries were in a high school, we'd be witnessing the drama club versus the cheerleading squad, and let me tell you, nobody is winning prom king anytime soon. It's like trying to build a bridge made of spaghetti, complete chaos with no structural integrity.
Finally, Trump's talk of a steel wall regarding the naval blockade. How do you interpret this kind of language?
The steel wall. Classic metaphor. Because nothing conveys strength and stability quite like a visual image of a wall that can't actually float on water. It sounds impressive until you remember that we're talking about ships, not actual walls. If these destroyers were bricks, perhaps we could start calling it a bricks and mortar navy. I can only imagine the naval architect's face when he hears that term. I'm picturing him trying to build a ship out of Legos now. So, yes, let's keep that metaphor alive. Because clearly, naval warfare needs a good dose of home improvement inspiration.
So, Iran has just released shocking footage of their military launching devastating missile and drone strikes on U.S. warships. What's your take on this spectacle?
Yes. Because nothing says, we're having a diplomatic discussion, quite like a good old-fashioned missile barrage, right? I mean, forget about tea and crumpets. Let's just roll out the drones and missiles like they're the latest blockbuster release. At this point, I'm half expecting the Pentagon to drop a trailer and a director's cut of the whole incident. And let's face it, if military action were a sport, these two would be in the finals with their championship match getting higher ratings than The Bachelor. Quite the premiere, isn't it?
What do you think the implications of Iran showcasing this military might are?
Well, you know what they say. Nothing boosts morale like a flashy missile launch. It's like they're trying to land a sponsorship deal with a defense company while on the world stage. As if the world hasn't had enough drama. Here comes Iran with their plot twist. Nothing says confidence like launching missiles at warships that are probably just trying to enjoy a nice day at sea. It's like going to the beach and accidentally stumbling into a shark-feeding frenzy. But hey, if they're looking to increase international tension, they're certainly hitting the bullseye.
How do you think the U.S. will respond to this missile strike video?
Oh, I can already picture it. An emergency meeting in a room filled with very serious-looking people, sipping their very strong coffee, while frantically Googling how to de-escalate a situation that feels straight out of a Jason Bourne movie. The US response will probably range from an air raid to a strongly worded tweet. Because, nothing says we mean business like a well-crafted 280-character bombshell. But realistically, if the US decides to retaliate, we might just see a military operation that's been planned better than a family road trip in the summer.
What about the reactions from other countries? How will they view this situation?
Oh, you can bet that other countries are sitting back with their popcorn, watching the latest episode of As the Middle East Turns. It's like a soap opera with high stakes. You've got allies and foes all trying to figure out if they should be concerned, amused, or just cringe at the sheer audacity. Some might even throw in a "I told you so" for good measure, because what's better than a good backseat driver in international politics? So, grab your snacks, folks. This drama is just getting started.
Do you think this incident will affect future diplomatic negotiations between the US and Iran?
Oh, absolutely. If there's one thing that gets negotiations fired up, it's launching missiles at each other like they're confetti at a wedding. It's the world's most dysfunctional relationship, where every time they try to work things out, someone ends up throwing a temper tantrum complete with explosives. It's like trying to negotiate for a prom date while one side keeps showing up in a tank. Spoiler alert. They will definitely need a couples therapist after this. Just imagine the sessions they're going to have to schedule.
Lastly, what are the chances that this will lead to a full-blown conflict?
Well, if we were to predict the future here, it'd be like trying to read tea leaves during an earthquake. But let's be honest. The chances are about as good as finding an avocado that's perfectly ripe at the grocery store. Everyone's hoping for peace talks, but then you have Iran sending out missiles like their wedding invitations. If the past is any indicator, it feels like we're just one wrong tweet away from someone declaring World War III. So, let's all buckle up and keep the popcorn handy. This roller coaster ride is far from over.
So, we've got Western Tehran's air defense systems reportedly firing amid rising tensions. Can you give us the scoop on what's happening?
Oh, absolutely. It's like watching a soap opera, where the plot twists are so frequent, you need a scorecard to keep up. Apparently, the air defense systems decided they were auditioning for a role in a blockbuster action movie. I mean, who wouldn't want to shoot at something? It's probably the most excitement those systems have seen since, well, let's face it, never. And the footage? Perfectly shot for the Best Dramatic Action Sequence category in the Tehran Film Festival of Unexpected Events.
What do you think triggered this sudden frenzy in the air defense systems?
Well, considering how quick they were to fire, it could have been anything from a rogue pigeon to a very enthusiastic birthday balloon. It seems like the air defense systems were on high alert, ready to respond to the slightest hint that something might be happening. I mean, if those systems had a coffee break every time nothing happened, we'd be in for some serious undercooked coffee. Maybe they just got tired of the daily grind and decided to spice things up a bit.
How do you think this situation affects the local populaces and their daily lives?
Oh, just your typical Tuesday in Tehran. First, there's a strong likelihood that the sound of air defense systems firing has replaced the usual morning traffic jams as the city's soundtrack. I can see neighbors exchanging pleasantries like, "Hey, did you hear those loud bangs? Sounds like my ex coming back for another round." But in reality, you've got people questioning if they should hit the grocery store or the nearest bunker. Talk about a purchasing dilemma. Do I want organic kale, or do I just want to survive another day? Decisions.
With all of this happening, what do you anticipate will be the next steps from the authorities?
Oh, they'll probably convene a top-secret meeting in a room that has more air freshens than windows. You know, to ensure that if they start talking about their next moves, the smell of citrus will mask the stench of panic. They might issue about a dozen vague statements like, "We are monitoring the situation closely," which is code for, "We have no idea what we're doing, but we'll look busy." Expect some high-tech surveillance equipment to be rolled out, and perhaps a few overly dramatic press conferences where everyone wears their best serious face while secretly checking their phones for memes.
Finally, how does this incident compare to other global tensions we see in the news today?
Oh sure, it's like comparing apples to very, very angry oranges. While one country is throwing tantrums over air defenses, another is throwing a global summit over who can bake the best soufflé. It's a circus, but one where all the clowns have serious military backgrounds. The world seems to be on this wild roller coaster ride of political shenanigans. And just when you think you've seen it all, bam! Tehran decides to add some fireworks to the mix. Don't worry, folks. It's all part of the World News for Dummies series. Next chapter, how to dodge a geopolitical crisis while still managing to get your morning coffee.
So, Trump has made some wild claims about a naval showdown with Iran. What's your take on that?
Oh, you know, classic Trump, spinning tales that would make even the best fiction writers envious. It's like he's narrating the least thrilling episode of Pirates of the Caribbean ever, where the only treasure is a gold star for effort. I mean, 3 American destroyers under fire? Sounds more like a theme park ride than a military operation. And the Iranian boats sinking? If only we could get that kind of efficiency at a car wash. No damage done, yet we see a fleet of small boats going belly up like they just lost a bet at a poker table. Honestly, if this were a movie, the audience might ask for their money back.
What do you think about the portrayal of Iran as lunatics in this situation?
Ah yes, the classic crazy enemy trope. Because nothing says serious geopolitical analysis quite like name-calling, right? I mean, if we're handing out lunatic badges, we might as well start knitting them into our national flag. But seriously, calling them lunatics is like labeling kittens dangerous because they have sharp claws. Maybe their navy just decided to take a nap and didn't get the memo about the serious business of naval engagements. I can only imagine the Iranian Navy's response. We would have brought the heavy artillery, but we were busy organizing a bake sale. Priorities, you know?
Trump mentioned missiles and drones being shot down effortlessly. What's the reality behind those claims?
Oh sure, effortlessly, as if our destroyers are fitted with magical shields from a sci-fi flick. It's like watching a toddler throw a tantrum against a brick wall. Eventually, something's going to give. But let's be real. If it were as easy as he makes it sound, we'd have an entire fleet of destroyers doing ballet pirouettes in the Strait of Hormuz. I half expect him to start pitching toy replicas of these missiles on infomercials. Look, they're shot down with the greatest of ease. Order now, and we'll throw in a set of collectible action figures. Yeah, because that's exactly how serious naval warfare works.
What did you think of the imagery he used, especially the butterfly comparison?
Oh boy, Trump and his poetic flair, a butterfly dropping to its grave? Wow, that's some Shakespeare-level imagery right there. I can just see the high school English teachers collectively facepalming at the unexpected competition. But it's a lovely thought, isn't it? Drones descending like delicate insects after a slap from a really angry kid. If only we could put that kind of grace into his speeches. Honestly, imagine if we made all military conflicts more artistic. We have a visual masterpiece here, folks. It's all about the aesthetics, not the bloodshed. I'm just glad he's not trying to write the next great American novel.
Is there any substance to his threats about knocking Iran out harder in the future?
Oh, absolutely. Nothing instills fear quite like a vague threat from a guy who once tweeted at a world leader like he was sliding into DMs. It's like a really intense game of dodgeball where one team is armed with crayons. Sure, threats sound serious, but they have the runtime of a soap opera. If there's one thing we can count on, it's that these future knockouts will probably involve a lot of hot air and a sprinkle of Twitter drama. Meanwhile, Iran's probably sitting there, munching on popcorn, thinking, what's it going to be today? More eloquent threats, or just another round of golf? It's almost like a sitcom at this point.
What do you think about the phrase wall of steel?
Ah, the wall of steel. Because who doesn't want to imagine a fortress made of kitchen utensils? Sounds incredibly intimidating, right? I can just picture it now. A wall so strong, it could withstand a light breeze. Or maybe even a few annoyed seagulls. But in all seriousness, it paints a lovely picture of America's military, might like it's in a comic book. I mean, does he think we're all standing around with popcorn, waiting for the next big superhero showdown? Maybe next he'll unveil a fortress of solitude and declare it a safe space for diplomacy. Comforting, isn't it? But really, it's more about sound bites than strategy, because in politics, those always pack the real punch.
So, it seems like Iran is keeping its missile arsenal intact during all the U.S. conflict. What does that mean for maritime security?
Well, if Iran's missile stockpile were a bakery, they'd still have all the pastries in the display case, and maybe even a few new ones whipped up while everyone else was out counting calories. With about 70% of their missiles and 75% of their launch pads ready to roll, we're not talking about a friendly recipe exchange here. We're talking about a potential new recipe for disaster in the Strait of Hormuz. Imagine trying to sip your smoothie while dodging flying cupcakes. Except these cupcakes are missiles, and they have a penchant for maritime security.
What about the economic impact of the U.S. blockade on Iran?
Ah yes, the good old economic pressure cooker. Analysts are saying that Iran could probably hold out for around 3 to 4 months under a blockade before their wallets start crying louder than an infant at a quiet dinner. It's like being on a reality show where the prize is prolonged economic hardship. But hey, at least they'll have a riveting story to tell at the local coffee shop. Remember that time we survived a blockade? Good times. Just as long as they don't run out of coffee during those months. That's a serious threat.
And how does Iran's drone situation play into this whole maritime security issue?
Oh, the drones. If Iran's missile stockpile is the bakery, then their drones are like the overly enthusiastic delivery guys who keep buzzing around with your food order, ready to ruin your day. With thousands of unmanned aerial vehicles up in the sky, they're basically hovering security cameras with attitude, just waiting to document who's naughty or nice in the waters. While missiles are the heavy artillery, the drones are the annoying little flies buzzing around, always reminding maritime traffic that, surprise, they're being watched. Nothing says, "Welcome to our waters," like a drone in your face.
What do you think this situation reveals about U.S.-Iran relations?
Oh, it reveals a lot, like a poorly cast reality show that nobody asked for. It's like a game of chess where both sides are playing with pieces missing, and everyone's still insisting they're winning. The US is like that overconfident player trying to blockade the board while Iran is calmly sipping tea and playing the long game, saying, "Oh, you think you've cornered me? Watch this." It's a classic case of "we're not mad, we're just disappointed" escalation. Honestly, it's a relationship that could use a good therapist, or at least a timeout.
Are there any potential outcomes you foresee from this situation?
Well, let's break out the crystal ball, shall we? The outcomes could range from a calm negotiation over tea to an all-out game of who can launch the most dramatic missile first. Maybe they'll settle their differences with a good old-fashioned bake-off, or perhaps they'll choose to escalate until one side runs out of options and has to admit they're out of the game. But if history has taught us anything, it's that more fireworks are likely than heartfelt apologies. It's like tuning into a soap opera where the plot twists are as predictable as the commercial breaks.
In your opinion, how should countries around the world respond to this situation?
Oh, the classic, what should we do? Conundrum. Countries around the world are probably itching to toss in their opinions like toppings on a pizza. Do they huddle together and say, let's be sensible? Or do they grab the popcorn and watch the chaos unfold? Personally, I think a balanced mix of diplomacy and a strong defense strategy makes for a good dish. But let's be real. Appeasing a country with a well-stocked missile bakery isn't easy. Maybe we need an international food festival where every country brings us their best dish and we finally talk about peace over a plate of falafel and hummus. Because if we can't eat together, what's the point?
So, Iran has launched missiles at a U.S. warship in the Hormuz Strait. What should we make of this latest turn of events?
Oh, just another day in international relations, you know? It's like watching a soap opera, where the plot twist is that everyone forgot to take their medication. I mean, Iran and the US have been like frenemies for decades, and now they've decided to throw a missile party. Who needs invitations when you've got missiles, right? It's almost like sending an RSVP via rocket instead of the usual email. And let's not forget the irony. Here we are in the 21st century, and they're still using countermeasures that sound like they were pulled from an old James Bond movie. I half expect to see a secret agent parachuting in to negotiate with a martini in one hand.
What is the significance of the Hormuz Strait in this context?
Ah, the Hormuz Strait. The little stretch of water that's like the high-traffic intersection of international trade, but with more missiles and far fewer traffic lights. This place is so significant that it's practically a celebrity in the geopolitical world. They say about a fifth of the world's oil supply passes through there, so it's the equivalent of having a Starbucks at every corner. Everyone wants a piece of it. If you're not careful, you could spill your frappuccino, or in this case, your fuel reserves. Honestly, if you're a world leader, getting a grip on Hormuz is like trying to hold on to a greased pig at a county fair, slippery, chaotic, and always an opportunity for someone to take a big dive.
What can you tell us about the U.S. response to these missile launches?
Well, the US response is like that friend at a karaoke bar who can't sing but insists on being the center of attention. You know they're going to belt out something dramatic, maybe a PowerPoint presentation on strategic responses, while everyone else is just trying to enjoy a night out. Reports indicate that the US has some bright ideas to move its ships out of the danger zone, which sounds sensible, but let's be honest, it's also like trying to avoid traffic by taking the scenic route. You're just delaying the inevitable gridlock. It's a bit like saying, hey, let's not play dodgeball, instead, let's just run away until the ball stops flying. But we all know that's not going to solve anything.
Could this escalate further? What's your take on that?
Escalate further? Oh, now you've hit the nail on the head. This situation has more potential to escalate than a toddler in a candy store with a parent who has just said no. We're talking about two countries flexing their muscles, and right now, it's like watching a very awkward dance-off where neither side wants to back down. The only thing missing is a referee and a scoreboard. If this keeps up, We might as well start placing bets on who throws the next punch. I mean, what's next? A rematch in a boxing ring? At this rate, it could turn into a full-on sequel of Missiles, the musical. Let's just hope we don't end up with a sequel nobody wants to see.
What insights can you give us about Iran's military capabilities?
Iran's military capabilities, like a magician's act, full of surprises and slightly dubious tricks. They've spent years developing their arsenal, and while it's not exactly the latest tech from Silicon Valley, it gets the job done according to their terms. They've got a knack for making sure the world knows they're not to be trifled with. It's like that kid in school who always comes to the playground swinging a plastic sword, but somehow you end up thinking twice before challenging them to a duel, just in case that sword is made of steel instead. Their military is more like a jigsaw puzzle with a few pieces missing, but every now and then, they manage to find that one piece, and it's a doozy, like a missile that can actually reach its target. So yes, while they might not have the resources of a superpower, they've got more than enough creativity to make things interesting.
How should global leaders respond to these kinds of tensions?
Global leaders and tensions, huh? It's like watching a group of cats trying to agree on the best sunspot in the house, utterly chaotic and mostly futile. Ideally, you'd want them to gather around a nice big negotiation table, armed with cookies and a promise to play nice. But let's be real, it often turns into a shouting match that resembles more of a family dinner gone wrong. The key is diplomacy, right? But when tensions escalate, it's like trying to pour tea into a cup with a hole in it. Nothing stays contained, and everyone ends up getting burned. So, while they bicker about sanctions and military moves, the rest of us just hope they don't forget that a little kindness can go a long way, or at least a decent sense of humor.
So, the U.S. Air Force officer is saying the war with Iran is America's most unpopular conflict. What's the scoop on that?
Yes, the airwaves are buzzing with news about how the U.S. Air Force has uncovered a colossal revelation. The war with Iran has all the popularity of a vegan dish at a Texas barbecue. Apparently, retired Lieutenant Colonel Karen Kwiatkowski thinks Congress is just twiddling their thumbs, enjoying the sweet sound of silence, while grumbling citizens look on in disbelief. It's like watching a soap opera where everyone knows the ending, but the characters just refuse to get the hint and change the script. And let's not even start on her comments about elite control. Because clearly, nothing screams democracy like a bunch of suits in a smoke-filled backroom deciding the fate of nations. Bravo, America!
What do you think about the claim that Congress isn't doing anything about the conflict?
Well, it's tough to get lawmakers to act when their idea of doing something is crafting a new sandwich to celebrate National Sandwich Day. I mean, can we really expect them to care about an unpopular war when there's a whole buffet of pressing issues waiting to be addressed? Perhaps they're all in a top-secret competition to see who can ignore the most pressing problems while still looking busy on Twitter. The only battle they seem ready to fight is which congressional intern can come up with the best meme about it.
Kwiatkowski mentions the U.S. being run by elites. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh, absolutely. It's like she's shining a spotlight on the invisible puppet masters who pull the strings while we, the unsuspecting marionettes, dance around with confused expressions. It's reminiscent of a bad magic show where the magician takes center stage, dazzling us with smoke and mirrors, while that sly rabbit hops away with the carrot. Meanwhile, ordinary folks are left wondering why their government is more interested in geopolitics than actually listening to the people who pay their salaries. Spoiler alert. It's a rigged game, and the elites always hold the winning card deck.
Do you really think the average American feels disconnected from this conflict?
Oh, you bet! It's as if the average American is tuning into a reality show where everyone is debating the merits of Greek yogurt versus low-fat sour cream, while the producers are off in the corner, setting the stage for an international fiasco. Most people are just trying to keep their heads above water with bills and that ever-elusive concept of work-life balance. If there were a war-themed reality show, it might just go bust, because viewers would rather binge-watch paint dry than engage with the dreary reality of foreign conflict.
What are the implications of these elite decisions on ordinary citizens?
Oh, the implications are as fun as stepping on a Lego in the dark. It's like having two separate worlds. One where elites make the big decisions, like choosing which country to invade for strategic resources, and the other where the rest of us are battling the day-to-day grind. The average citizen is left to pick up the pieces while elites are busy creating their own version of Monopoly, where they just keep passing go and collecting $200 without ever landing on Boardwalk. It's a real-life game of who dares wins, except the stakes are our lives, and we're not even invited to the table.
Is there a solution to making citizens feel more engaged with foreign policy?
Well, if only there were a magical button that could connect citizens to foreign policy like a Wi-Fi hotspot. But alas, it seems we're stuck with the equivalent of dial-up. Maybe if Congress took a break from their Twitter wars and actually held a town hall meeting over a barbecue, where they can explain complex foreign policies in potato salad terms, there might be hope. Otherwise, it's going to resemble one of those awkward family dinners where someone brings up politics and the room suddenly resembles a battlefield. Until then, we're left navigating the diplomatic minefield with the same trained precision as a toddler in a candy store, blissfully unaware and a bit messy.
So Trump recently called Washington, D.C. disgusting, while highlighting the shocking trash crisis at the Lincoln Memorial. What's your take on that?
Well, it seems like our former president has taken up urban gardening, except instead of flowers, he's nurturing mountains of garbage. Who knew Lincoln's reflecting pool was actually a reflective garbage dump? I mean, calling it disgusting is like saying a mud pie is just a little messy. With 11 or 12 trucks full of trash, it's like DC is hosting a trash convention, and I bet they didn't even send out invitations. I can only imagine the photo ops. Here's Lincoln, and right next to him, the 7 wonders of yesterday's lunch. A presidential cleanup crew? Maybe they should make it a reality show. Trash Talkers, the DC edition.
Is it surprising to hear that the nation's capital has had a trash problem right in front of one of its most famous monuments?
Surprising? Not at all. It's like finding out your favorite restaurant has a rat problem. Disappointing but not shocking. DC has been playing hide and seek with garbage for years. I thought the only thing piling up in front of the Lincoln Memorial was tourists trying to get the perfect selfie. But nope. Turns out it's just a treasure trove of fast food wrappers and forgotten dreams. The real question is, do we need a new slogan? Something catchy like, "Welcome to DC, where history meets hilarity, and trash has its own zip code."
What do you think of Trump's cleaning efforts around the reflecting pool?
Oh, it's truly inspiring. Like watching a toddler attempt to clean their room by shoving everything under the bed. You can almost hear him saying, "I'll just fix this mess, one Instagram photo at a time." It's about time someone with a big enough platform stepped in, even if they've put more emphasis on the trash than on the memorial itself. I mean, who needs Gandhi and MLK when you have a mountain of McDonald's wrappers in the background for a dramatic effect? Maybe he'll get a Nobel Prize for environmentalism, best supporting role in a trashy drama.
What are the chances this will bring about real change in DC regarding trash management?
Oh, the chances? They're about as likely as finding a clean bathroom in a gas station. Sure, he'll shovel some trash, and then it'll be back to business as usual. It's kind of like a diet. You start off strong, toss out the junk food, then you find yourself elbow deep in chips by week 2. Without sustained effort, this could just be another one-off cleanup, sort of like that time my friend vowed to get fit after New Year's. Spoiler alert, she's currently in her couch's embrace with a box of donuts.
Do you think it's fair to blame the trash crisis on the government?
Oh, absolutely. Blaming the government for trash is like blaming a musician for playing the wrong notes. Everyone knows it's part of the gig. The government has a habit of treating trash problems like that embarrassing relative no one wants to talk about at family gatherings. They just shove it in the corner and hope it goes away. But trash doesn't just vanish. It multiplies like rabbits at a pet store. If the government wants to clean up its act, maybe it should start with some good old-fashioned composting of bad decisions.
What do you think people around the nation feel about this situation?
I can hear the collective sigh of disbelief echoing across the country, like a giant "you" that brings a tear to your eye. People are probably thinking, wow, our capital has turned into a modern art installation titled "The Pile of Regrets." It's like watching your favorite sitcom turn into a reality show, and unfortunately, the audience is left to clean up the mess. I'd say folks are torn between amusement and horror, like watching a cat stuck in a tree. You know it's not good, but you can't help but watch, and at this point, they might just throw a festival. Trash Fest 2023. Come for the culture, stay for the smell.
Revealed. Unseen aerial refueling operations in the Middle East. What they don't want you to know.
Ah, yes, the good old Middle East, where the sand flies faster than the truth and aircraft, are apparently filling up like my gas tank every Monday morning. Who knew their refueling operations were more covert than a ninja in a blackout? It's like they're keeping the secret sauce from us, but honestly, if you ask me, it's probably just a mix of jet fuel and embarrassment.
What do you think the implications of these operations are for regional security?
Well, it's sort of like playing whack-a-mole, except the moles are armed drones and instead of a mallet we're using GDP. I mean, come on. You'd think we'd learn by now that trying to maintain peace in this region is like trying to get a cat to take a bath. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end well, and someone will inevitably get scratched.
How do you think the public will react once they learn about these secret operations?
Ah, the public reaction? Always a delightful circus. Picture a bunch of people with popcorn in one hand and conspiracy theories in the other. Oh look, another government secret, they'll exclaim, likely while scrolling through their latest TikTok drama. Honestly, we should just hand out medals for the best shocked face. They're going to need them when the truth hits harder than my morning coffee.
Do you think this will change how the military operates in the future?
Change? In the military? That's like asking if a dinosaur would change its diet after a salad bar opens. Sure, they'll adapt, like a chameleon but in camouflage, but let's face it, they'll still stick to their favorite recipe. A dash of secrecy, and a sprinkle of "we know better than you." At this point, I'm convinced they could launch a reality TV show on keeping secrets, and it would get a higher rating than any of those cooking competitions.
What other countries might be involved in similar operations?
Oh, let's not throw a party just yet. I can see a lineup forming. Enter stage left. Everyone from hostile nations to our best frenemies. It's like the international version of "let's see who can keep a straight face while we pretend there's no food under the table" kind of game. It's like a bad family reunion where everyone knows Uncle Sal is up to no good, but nobody wants to bring it up at Thanksgiving.
Can you shed some light on the technology behind these operations?
Sure, imagine using technology that's more advanced than your average sci-fi movie, yet somehow still operates on the same principles as my old flip phone, just a lot more expensive and with fewer buttons. These refueling tankers are practically flying Wi-Fi hotspots, but instead of streaming cat videos, they're just delivering air to jets. I mean, if that doesn't scream welcome to the future, I don't know what does.
So, it seems like the US military just decided to drop by Iran's military bases. What's the story there?
Oh, just your average Tuesday, where the US military thought, let's give those Iranian military bases a little shake-up. They went full-on Amazon Prime, delivering precision strikes to missile launch sites and drone hangars. Because why not play a little military monopoly, right? It's like they've got a you attack us, we attack you subscription service, only with a lot more explosions and a lot less pizza. And thankfully, no American ships were harmed, because we can't have a day without those expensive floating targets.
What does this mean for international relations, especially in the Strait of Hormuz?
Ah, the Strait of Hormuz, where tensions run higher than a caffeinated squirrel on a sugar rush. It's like a geopolitical game of Twister. Everyone's trying to avoid stepping on each other's toes, while also trying to maintain their balance on a tightrope of diplomacy. Now, with the US playing the role of the overprotective parent in this family drama, we can expect Iran to raise its eyebrow and possibly retaliate. It's all fun and games until someone launches a drone that isn't equipped with a "please don't shoot me" sign.
Why did CENTCOM say they are not looking to escalate tensions?
Oh, bless their hearts. CENTCOM claims they're not looking to escalate tensions, which is like saying a cat isn't trying to knock over your glass of water. They might not be aiming for it, but you just know it's on their bucket list. They're all about showing they can throw a punch while still keeping the peace, which sounds nice in theory, but we all know how that usually turns out. Like trying to balance a cucumber on a tightrope, it's bound to roll off sooner or later.
How do these military movements affect the global oil market?
Well, if the global oil market were a person, it'd be the world's most nervous waiter at a fancy restaurant. One wrong move, and suddenly, everyone's worried about the price of oil skyrocketing faster than my blood pressure at a family reunion. Each military move sends shivers down the oil market's spine, with traders whispering we might be seeing red as they watch the ticker. Because let's face it, higher tensions equal higher gas prices, and we all know how much fun it is to fill up your tank and feel like you're funding a small army with every drop.
What are the implications for U.S. Navy operations in the region?
If there's one thing the US Navy loves, it's a good old-fashioned naval exercise spiced with a pinch of drama. With Iran firing off drones like they're at a birthday party, the Navy now has to navigate the waters with the grace of a hippo on roller skates. They're sailing through a hotspot where every wave could be a potential July 4th fireworks celebration, only, with a lot more military decorum and a lot less fun. So, the implications? Tightened security measures, more careful maneuvers, and perhaps a few extra coffee breaks to fuel the nerves.
What's the bottom line here?
The bottom line? Where all the philosophical musings come crashing into reality, like a toddler with a sugar rush. The bottom line is pretty simple. The US is flexing its military muscle in a region known for its delicate peace like a bodybuilder in a tutu at a ballet recital. Everyone's holding their breath, waiting for the next move while trying to keep their own egos in check. It's a delicate dance where one misstep could change the whole choreography, and let's just say, nobody wants to be the one to step on a toe. A global toe. That is.
So, we just heard that Iran's Revolutionary Guard launched some serious missile strikes on U.S. warships. Care to break this down for us?
Ah, yes. Nothing says we love diplomacy quite like missile strikes in international waters. It's like saying, hey, let's have a picnic, while simultaneously launching your potato salad at someone across the table. Apparently, the Revolutionary Guard decided that sending a strong message was the best way to cozy up to their neighbors, and nothing says, welcome, like a barrage of missiles. I mean, they really went all out. Did they forget to ask if the US warships wanted some cake too? But on a serious note, it's like a bad game of Battleship, where the stakes are literally at sea. I wonder if they have a scoreboard for this kind of thing?
What do you think the implications of this could be? Not just for US-Iran relations, but also for the region.
Oh, just your typical Tuesday in the Middle East? I mean, if there were a reality show for geopolitical tensions, this would be the season finale. The implications are vast and myriad. Like a buffet where everything looks delicious, but you're likely to get food poisoning from half of it. The US is probably sitting there wondering, what did we do to deserve this? While Iran's feeling like a kid who just pulled the fire alarm at school and is now marveling at the chaos they've created. If they can't discuss things over tea and crumpets, this could lead to a lot of back and forth missile throwing, and let's be real, those rarely end well. More drama than a soap opera.
What about the military strategies in play here? Any surprising moves or tactics being used?
Oh, absolutely. It's like watching a game of chess where someone decided to play checkers instead. Instead of the usual posturing and eye-rolling, the Revolutionary Guard seemed to have taken a page from How to Be Extra in a Conflict 101. They utilized different types of missiles, drones, and what sounds like a mood board of destruction. It's like they walked into a military supply store and shouted, "I'll take one of everything." Their strategy seems to be, why use one missile when you can achieve maximum chaos with a full buffet of them? But let's be honest, while flashy tactics make for great headlines, they usually leave a mess that someone else has to clean up. You know? Like when you try to impress your friends with a new recipe and it ends up splattered everywhere.
How do you think the international community is reacting to this situation?
Oh, the international community is probably like that awkward family at a reunion who can't decide whether to intervene in a food fight or just let it play out for the entertainment. You've got some countries reaching for their popcorn while others are frantically calling for a ceasefire like it's a hotline for heavy drama. Everyone's probably thinking, is this how we want to spend our time? Watching missiles fly and relationships crumble? It's like when you see a car crash and you can't look away, but you also really wish you could change the channel. I mean, who wouldn't want to avoid a global escalation? But here we are, tuning in for episode 37 of As the World Turns, in the realm of international relations.
Do you believe this could lead to any new alliances forming in response to the tensions?
Oh, alliances are like friendships in high school, totally unpredictable, and often based on who can throw the best party. We might see some unlikely pairings here, like Israel and some Gulf states striking up a "we both totally dislike Iran" club, while the US tries to maintain its status as the big brother who steps in whenever a spat breaks out. It's like the awkward moment when you have to choose sides in a group project, knowing full well that whoever you choose might just throw you under the bus later. If anything, this could pave the way for some alliances, but let's hope they come with a solid treaty, and not just a promise to take each other out for coffee once the dust settles.
Finally, what do you think the average person should take away from this situation?
Ah, the average person, the star of this entire show, who probably just wants to know if there's a coffee sale at the local store. Honestly, they should walk away with the thought that the world is a bit like a soap opera, full of drama, plot twists, and characters you just can't believe are real. It's a reminder that while we're all worrying about our own day-to-day lives, somewhere, a group of people is deciding whether to escalate things over a misunderstanding. Maybe they'll flip the script and decide to have a summit instead. But until then, just remember, always check the news if you're planning to board a cruise to the Mediterranean. You never know who might be aiming their missiles at you.
So, Trump is celebrating plummeting gas prices and a surging stock market. What's your take on this economic turnaround?
Ah, yes. The classic case of look over here at the shiny stock market while we ignore the underlying issues. It's like putting a fresh coat of paint on a sinking ship and calling it a luxury yacht. Sure, gas prices are down, but let's be real. They were as high as my expectations for a New Year's resolution by the end of the last year. And the stock market? It's riding a roller coaster that makes your heart race, not because it's thrilling, but because you're terrified it will drop at any moment. So while Trump is celebrating, I'm just hoping the party doesn't end with a collective gasp.
Do you think the public is buying into this celebration of economic success?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't want to believe that the economy is thriving? It's like believing a cat when it says it loves you right after it knocked over your favorite plant. The average person at the gas station isn't cheering. They're pouring their coffee into the gas tank, trying to figure out if caffeine can fuel their car. It's a good time for some, but for the rest of us, it feels like we're watching a sitcom where the laugh track is on a loop, but the jokes just aren't landing.
What do you think is the real story behind these economic shifts?
Ah, the real story is as elusive as a unicorn at a magic show. On the surface, you have gas prices dropping faster than a bad habit in January, but deep down, there are still economic potholes big enough to swallow a small car. You see, the stock market can be deceiving, like a magician who makes a rabbit disappear. One minute you think you're up, and the next, poof, your savings are vanishing before your eyes. So, while we're all clapping for an economic miracle, let's not forget that miracles take a very specific kind of faith, or maybe just a really good PR team.
What do you think the average American is feeling about this news?
Well, if I had to guess, they're feeling a bit like a roller coaster enthusiast who just found out the ride was only half operational. Excited about the dips and ups, but constantly looking out for that sudden drop that makes your stomach churn. They're probably checking their bank accounts between gas station stops, trying to do mental math and wondering if they should celebrate or just sit quietly in their car, contemplating life choices. It's a mixed bag of emotions, like receiving a holiday gift that's half awesome and half just a new pair of socks, useful, but not exactly a thrill.
Is there any potential downside to this kind of economic news?
Oh, you bet. It's like celebrating getting a flat tire on your road trip because the car is still drivable. Sure, gas prices are down, but that means something else is bubbling under the surface. Maybe demand is down, or the economy is just going through a weird phase, like that friend who decides to go vegan for a week and then orders a double cheeseburger. It's a temporary high in a potentially bumpy ride ahead. So while everyone's toasting to the great news, I'd recommend keeping an umbrella handy just in case the economic rain decides to pour.
In the grand scheme of things, how significant are these changes really?
Well, in the grand scheme, it's a bit like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, isn't it? Sure, it looks nice for a moment, but underneath, you've still got the iceberg of reality looming. The changes might be significant in the short term for a few stockholders, but for the average person, it's more of a ripple effect than a tidal wave. They're still navigating their day-to-day struggles while the economy does its little cha-cha dance on the stock market floor. So, let's not pop the confetti just yet. We might need it later for a crying party.
So, Iran's Revolutionary Guard just launched drone strikes against the Kurdish opposition. What's your take on this bold move?
The Revolutionary Guard really knows how to say, "I love you." With drones, nothing screams diplomacy quite like sending flying robots to attack your neighbors. I mean, who needs a friendly chat over a cup of tea when you can just zap your opponents from the sky? It's like trying to settle a family feud over Thanksgiving dinner by launching fireworks indoors instead of just talking it out. Maybe they thought they were in a video game and level up points came from drone strikes instead of negotiating peace. Spoiler alert, this isn't the ending anyone was hoping for.
What do you think the implications are for regional stability after such an attack?
Oh, regional stability? That's like trying to build a sandcastle during a hurricane. It's just not going to end well. With Iran dropping drone bombs like it's a pinata party, you can bet that the neighbors are hiding under their beds with a box of tissues and a pint of ice cream. I mean, if there's one rule in international relations, it's that drone strikes tend to ruin dinner parties. Expect everyone else in the region to grab their popcorn and watch this drama unfold, because if history has taught us anything, it's that what goes around comes around, and it usually arrives in a drone.
How do you think the Kurdish people are reacting to this situation?
Well, I can only imagine that the Kurdish folks are feeling like they just walked into a surprise party, only to find out it's a surprise you got bombed party. Their plans for a peaceful evening out probably got replaced with adrenaline-fueled sprinting and deep existential discussions about whether to invest in body armor or just stay inside. It's tough when your neighbors decide that the best way to resolve conflicts is with high-tech toys that can hover and drop bombs rather than, maybe just talking it out over a nice cup of chai. I assume their next community meeting is going to be less about how to improve our neighborhood and more about how to stay alive 101.
What might be the international reaction to these strikes?
The international reaction? Basically like watching a bunch of people at a buffet argue over who gets the last piece of cake. I mean, on one hand, you've got folks shaking their heads and clucking their tongues like disappointed mothers, and on the other, countries that might secretly wish they had a drone or two of their own for their own diplomatic missions. You can bet a few ambassadors will be writing sternly worded letters that amount to "Dear Iran, please stop playing with bombs. Sincerely, the UN." But, spoiler alert, letters are like the adult version of timeout. They don't really change anything. The world loves a good spectacle, and watching countries like Iran throw tantrums is the kind of reality show that gets ratings.
Will this affect Iran's relationship with other neighboring countries?
You bet it will. It's like that one friend who always shows up to the group hangout with a wild story that no one really wanted to hear, and suddenly everyone's left wondering if maybe they should just start meeting online instead. With these drone strikes, Iran's is basically saying, "We play by our own rules, thank you very much." That's bound to make the neighbors nervous. Like having a loud, unpredictable dog in the backyard while you're just trying to enjoy your barbecue. They might be willing to have a backyard chat, but they're definitely keeping the door locked and the fence high, just in case that dog decides to take a bite out of them.
What's your prediction for the future regarding this issue?
Well, if history has taught us anything, it's that predicting the future in geopolitics is about as reliable as predicting the weather in a tropical storm. I'd say buckle up, because this roller coaster isn't over yet. There may be more drone strikes, more drama, and definitely more diplomatic conversations that sound more like a group of toddlers arguing over toys. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some alliances shift, or new neighbors throwing shade at each other, like it's a high school social media feud. So, prepare your popcorn and enjoy the show, folks, because this is going to be one wild episode of As the Region Turns.
So, tell us about this unbelievable news. A woman jumps from a moving taxi in Brazil to escape a $2 fare. What on earth was she thinking?
Well, when life gives you lemons, you should probably just pay the damn fare. But instead, this brave soul decided that leaping from a moving vehicle was a more viable option than handing over a couple of bucks. I mean, she must have thought, $2? I could get 2 whole cups of coffee with that money. Or maybe she was just auditioning for a part in the next action movie. Dodge the dollar, coming straight to your local cinema. Honestly, I didn't know a view of the asphalt could be so liberating.
What can we say about the state of taxi fares in Brazil? Are they really that outrageous?
Well, you know how taxis can be that friend who always wants to split the bill, but ends up ordering the most expensive thing on the menu? Yeah, that's pretty much Brazil's taxi scene in a nutshell. $2 might seem a trifle to some, but for our jumpy heroine, that was the line in the sand. Much like deciding whether to pay for guacamole or just settle for plain tortilla chips. And let's be real, who wants to miss out on the thrill of a good, old-fashioned chase scene while trying to save a couple of coins? You'd think they were charging for air in there.
What kind of desperation leads someone to jump from a moving taxi?
Desperation, my friend, is like that one relative who shows up uninvited at every family gathering, unpleasant and often unpredictable. In this case, it seems our daring diva calculated the odds and realized that the $2 fare felt more like a hefty toll for the entry into a life of crime than a simple cab ride. Maybe she thought she was in a heist movie, and the taxi was that slow getaway car. Or perhaps she just really needed to get to that karaoke bar before her friends could unleash their inner pop stars. It's all about priorities.
Do you think this woman was just trying to make a statement about fair prices?
Oh, absolutely, because nothing screams, "I demand fair wages." Quite like a dramatic leap from a taxi, it's like staging a protest, but in the most illogical way possible. I mean, if she really wanted a statement, she could have just started a Twitter hashtag, "not paying $2" or something catchy like that. But no, she chose the full-blown Mission Impossible route. One could say she took fare avoidance to a whole new level. Clearly, the adrenaline rush was worth more to her than the fare. Talk about priorities.
How do you think this story affects the public perception of taxi services in Brazil?
Oh, if taxis weren't already getting the bad rap, now they'll definitely be the star of the next. You won't believe this. Viral video montage. I can see the headlines now. Dangerous taxi rides. Are they worth the leap? Honestly, this could either lead to a boom in ride-sharing apps or a surge in yoga classes focused on emergency exits. I mean, who needs a coupon code when you can slap a seatbelt and jump out like a superhero? But seriously, this story is going to make everyone think twice about whether to lift their hand for a cab or just start running.
What's the takeaway from this incident? Should we all start examining our transportation choices?
Absolutely. Grab your magnifying glass, because we're about to enter the world of overthinking transportation choices. Maybe it's time we all reconsider how we get around. Considering some cardio instead of a taxi could save some bucks and keep your life thrilling. Next time I'm in Brazil, I'll think about taking the bus. Or heck, I'll just start walking. Who knows? I might even stumble upon a hidden treasure, like a fruit vendor with cheaper options. But remember, folks, before you leap out of a taxi, maybe check the fare first. Just saying.
So, Trump is claiming that US-Iran negotiations are going swimmingly, despite some recent attacks. Is that just optimistic thinking?
Oh, absolutely. It's like saying your diet is going great while you're munching on a triple-decker cheeseburger. Trump's optimism is the kind of optimism you find in a kid who just lost a race, but is convinced he can fly if he flaps his arms hard enough. But hey, who doesn't love a good diplomatic fairy tale during a buffet of geopolitical drama?
What do you think is really behind these negotiations? Is it just political theater?
Oh, you bet it is. It's like watching a soap opera where every character has a questionable backstory and hair products that defy gravity. Politicians love to put on a show. They're all about those dramatic pauses and cliffhangers, except instead of a passionate kiss, we get sanctions and tariffs. It's the perfect recipe for a thrilling political drama that absolutely no one wants to binge watch.
With tensions flaring up, how do you see this playing out for both countries?
Well, it's like watching two people argue over the last piece of pizza at a party. Neither one wants to back down, and both are prepared to turn the room into a WWE wrestling match over it. Look, if they could just agree to share the pizza, like maybe putting aside a little slice of diplomacy for later, everyone could go home happy. But no, we're stuck with the who can yell the loudest championship instead.
Do you think Trump's statement is gaining traction with the public?
Oh, 100%. If there's anything the public loves, it's a good plot twist. It's like watching a magician pull a rabbit out of a hat, except it's a rabid rabbit, and you're pretty sure the hat's on fire. People love a good show, and as long as Trump keeps pulling surprises, they won't pay attention to the looming storm clouds overhead. It's like a reality TV show. Ratings go up as reality becomes stranger than fiction.
What would you say is the biggest risk with this kind of optimism?
Well, the biggest risk is you can end up painting a rosy picture in a paint factory explosion. If you're too optimistic, you might end up blinding yourself to the fact that the other side could be sharpening their knives while you're busy fluffing your diplomatic pillows. Ignoring reality is a dangerous game, my friend. And when the reality hits, it's not always going to be the gentle tap of a feather duster.
Lastly, how do you think other countries are reacting to this situation?
Oh, they're probably grabbing popcorn and preparing their scorecards. It's like a global talent show where everyone is waiting to see who falls off the stage first. Other countries are probably watching this with a mix of horror and amusement, like watching a clown car crash. Nobody wants to admit they enjoy it, but the spectacle is hard to look away from. It's a geopolitical circus, and everyone's got front row seats.
So, tell us about this wild rabid beaver attack involving an 8-year-old boy. What a headline, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's the kind of news that makes you want to run outside and double-check if all your beavers are rabies-free. So, there's this 8-year-old boy just trying to enjoy a peaceful day of fishing, because nothing says relaxation quite like dangling a worm on a hook, and then, bam, enter the rabid beaver, ready to munch on some innocent thigh. I mean, who knew fishing could turn into a scene from a horror movie? Thankfully, an adult was there to intervene, because, let's face it, a beaver as a new fishing buddy is not what your child needs. Just a normal day in the great outdoors, right? You go for a relaxing outing and come back with a rabies vaccine instead of a trophy fish.
How often do we hear about rabid animals attacking people? Is this a common occurrence?
You know, the phrase common occurrence is a bit misleading here. I mean, do we really expect rabid beavers to be the next big thing in our news cycle? It's like a twisted version of Where's Waldo? Except instead of looking for a guy in a striped shirt, you're trying to spot the rabid animal that might just ruin your weekend. I'd say the chances are about as high as finding a needle in a haystack, if the haystack was also irrationally angry and had a rabies shot history. More often than not, it's the usual suspects like raccoons or skunks. But hey, let's give the beavers a round of applause for finally making their way into the spotlight. They must be thrilled to be the new face of wildlife attacks.
What do we generally know about rabies and its effects on animals? Why is it such a big deal?
Ah, rabies, the gift that keeps on giving in all the wrong ways. It's like having an unwanted party crasher who not only shows up uninvited but also tries to bite everyone. Rabies is this very charming viral infection that gets into the nervous system and turns perfectly lovely animals into aggressive little monsters. It's a real-life horror story that no one ever asked for. Animals start acting like they're auditioning for a role in a bad zombie movie, drooling and trying to bite anything in sight. So, anytime rabies is in the news, it's a big deal, because unless you're planning to start a beaver wrestling league, people don't want to come into contact with anything rabid. It's like the world's worst game of tag, except when you're tagged, you might need a few shots and a very long nap.
What measures can people take to avoid rabid animal encounters while enjoying outdoors?
Well, prevention is key, my friend. Think of it this way. When you go out into the wild, it's kind of like going on a first date. You're going to want to put your best foot forward and avoid sticky situations, preferably with wild animals. First off, keep a safe distance from any animal that looks like it's auditioning for the role of crazy critter. If you see a furry friend frothing at the mouth and eyeing your leg like it's a hot dog, it's probably best to just walk away. And if you happen to be fishing, don't forget that your catch of the day should ideally be fish, not a snapping beaver with a vendetta. Also, make sure your pets are vaccinated, because they are your loyal sidekicks on this outdoor journey. Just like you wouldn't let your buddy drive home from the bar without a sober friend. Don't let your pets go cavorting with wildlife unprotected.
Any last thoughts on this beaver incident? What can we learn from it?
Oh, you bet. This beaver incident is a classic reminder that nature is unpredictable, like a toddler in a candy store. The takeaway here is simple. Always be aware of your surroundings, because you never know when Mother Nature is going to throw a beaver-sized curveball at you. And remember, when fishing, leave the wrestling to the professionals and keep your distance from anything that seems a bit off. Essentially, the lesson is to enjoy the great outdoors, but maybe invest in a rabies survival kit alongside your fishing gear. Because at the end of the day, nothing says fun family outing like almost getting bitten by a wild animal with a flair for dramatic entrances.
So, it sounds like Iran is pretty fired up after those recent attacks on their ships and civilians. What do you make of their response?
Well, you know what they say. When you poke a bear, you better be ready for some serious growling. Iran seems to be channeling their inner action movie villain, vowing to retaliate with all the intensity of a toddler denied a cookie. They've taken to calling the US military bandits, which, I mean, if you squint hard enough, it almost makes them sound like the protagonists in a superhero flick. And let's be real, attacking back is like a game of whack-a-mole with real-life consequences. The stakes are high, but so is the drama.
How do you think this situation impacts international relations in the region?
Ah, international relations. The world's most awkward family dinner table. One minute you're all laughing and passing the mashed potatoes, and the next, someone mentions politics, and it's all explosive chaos. Iran's retaliation might just add a couple more layers of tension to a cake that's already too spicy to handle. You've got diplomatic channels fizzling out faster than a soda left open in the sun. And let's not forget the countries watching from the sidelines, popcorn in hand, trying to figure out where they'll fit into the next scene of this geopolitical drama.
Do you think Iran's military actually has the capability to follow through on its threats?
The age-old question of what's bravado and what's firepower. Iran's military isn't exactly packing water balloons here. They've got some serious hardware. But making threats is like putting on a flashy jacket at the club. It looks good, but does it really mean you can dance? Sure, they can flex their muscles all day, but actual military engagement might not be the disco party they're envisioning. It's like swinging a bat at a piñata. You gotta be careful not to break your own wrist in the process.
What do you think is going through the minds of military strategists watching this unfold?
Oh, you better believe there's some serious jaw-clenching and hair-pulling going on in those war rooms. If there's even hair left. Military strategists are probably flipping through their playbooks faster than a kid trying to find the right Pokémon card. They're weighing options like a chef deciding between butter and olive oil. One might be tasty, but the other could cause a grease fire. On top of that, they're probably all thinking, is it too late to become llama farmers instead? Because let's face it, a peaceful llama farm sounds a lot less messy than this international buffet of chaos.
Where do you see this situation heading in the near future?
Predicting the future of international relations is like trying to guess the plot twist in a soap opera. One day a character's getting married, the next they're revealing their secret identity as a spy. Right now, we might be sitting on a powder keg, waiting for someone to light a match and make the whole thing explode into a wild spectacle. Or, it could simmer down into a tense but quiet stare-off, where everyone pretends they're just checking their phones for updates. If there's anything we know about international politics, it's that it's full of surprises, like a piñata filled with marbles instead of candy.
What should civilians in the region know about the implications of this conflict?
Well, civilian life in a conflict zone is about as stable as a unicycle on a tightrope. Folks should expect that living in the shadow of military posturing is like being in a perpetual state of Netflix suspense. 1 minute, everything's great, and the next, you're holding your breath, waiting for the next big cliffhanger. It's crucial for people to stay informed, but not overwhelmed, like eating chips at a party. You want to enjoy them, but don't want to ruin your dinner with a whole bag. Plus, let's be honest, the best way to keep calm might just be to binge-watch a sitcom. There's nothing like laughter to drown out the sound of distant explosions.
So, let's unpack this missile launching party in the Strait of Hormuz. What exactly happened with the U.S. Navy destroyers?
Oh, just your average Tuesday in the Strait of Hormuz, where a few Iranian missile enthusiasts decided that the U.S. Navy ships were the ideal targets for their newest toys. It's like the world's most dangerous game of dodgeball, but instead of rubber balls, we have missiles and drones. Thank goodness for these U.S. Navy destroyers' impressive evasive maneuvers. Turns out, dodging missiles isn't just a skill you pick up in a video game. The U.S. forces didn't fall for the bait this time, which is great, because nobody likes a game where the prize is an international incident.
What's CENTCOM saying in response to all this?
CENTCOM, the military's version of that friend who always insists they've got your back, is assuring us that they do not seek escalation. I mean, who needs drama, right? They just want to keep their American forces safe and sound, while enjoying a calm evening in their cozy military command center. Meanwhile, Iran seems to be auditioning for a role in the next action blockbuster. CENTCOM's ready to protect, which is comforting, unless you think about the fact that Ready looks suspiciously like they've just finished binge-watching The Office and are still trying to remember the last time they had actual hands-on training.
What does this escalation mean for the relationship between the US and Iran?
Ah, the delicate dance of US-Iran relations, like two rivals at a high school prom, each trying to find the right moment to step on the other's toes without starting a full-blown food fight. This missile launch is basically Iran saying, "Hey, look at me, I can throw a tantrum too," while the US is trying to be that calm parent who says, Now, let's not escalate things, or you'll have to go to your room without dinner." Spoiler alert. Nobody's getting dinner when tensions run high, and if this keeps up, we might need a therapist to mediate.
How are the ships involved holding up in these kinds of situations?
The ships? Oh, they're just fine, thank you very much. The USS Truxtun, Rafael Peralta, and Mason are like the cool kids at school who can dodge insults and dodge missiles like pros. These destroyers are built to withstand just about anything short of a hurricane or a surprise birthday party. Their armor's thicker than a slice of New York cheesecake, and with their advanced technology, they make dodging missiles look as easy as swatting flies, except, it's a lot more serious and involves a lot less cake.
In light of this, what should we watch for next?
Well, keep your eyes peeled because this might just be the warm-up act for a geopolitical slapstick comedy. Expect a lot of finger-pointing, some awkward press conferences, and maybe even some TikTok challenges where both sides try to outdo each other with military bluster. Tensions rising? Check. Diplomatic discussions? Probably just a group chat where nobody shows up. This is like waiting for the next episode of a reality show, where nobody really knows who's going to throw the first punch, or in this case, the first missile.
What's the general public sentiment around these military actions?
Oh, the general public is always thrilled about military actions, right? It's like asking if people enjoy traffic jams. Most folks are probably sitting in their living rooms, eyes glued to the TV, like it's the finale of their favorite reality show, except this time, the stakes are a little higher than a rose ceremony. They're likely thinking, "This is thrilling but horrifying," and hoping that while the military plays chess with drones, someone remembers to play nice before it turns into a game of Jenga, because we all know how that ends.
So, there's a final airstrike warning issued in the UAE, but it seems like Dubai and Abu Dhabi are just chilling? What's the deal with that?
Well, you know how sometimes you get a warning from your alarm clock that you'll wake up late? But you just hit the snooze button, roll over, and continue your blissful sleep? That's essentially what's happening in the UAE right now. They've got a dramatic airstrike warning that sounds like a plot twist in a soap opera, yet Dubai and Abu Dhabi are sitting there like, "Not today, buddy." Honestly, it's like a horror movie where the characters just refuse to get scared.
Is there any real cause for concern, or is this just a lot of hot air?
Oh, absolutely. It's like someone's bringing a fire extinguisher to a barbecue to show off, but there's nothing actually burning. The sky looks perfectly fine, no ominous clouds, no angry birds. Just the usual sunny day interrupted by the occasional tourist screaming for a selfie. I mean, this is the UAE, home to the tallest building in the world and more luxury cars than you can shake a stick at. Trying to scare people off with airstrike warnings is like trying to frighten a lion with a house cat.
What do you think the impact of this warning is on daily life in these cities?
Honestly, the only thing this warning is impacting is the coffee consumption at local cafes. People are still bustling around, unfazed, probably debating which overpriced avocado toast to order. They're dodging airstrikes, like they're dodging traffic when crossing the street. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a final airstrike warning special on the menu at some restaurant. Free dessert with your meal if you mention it. It's all just part of the dramatic backdrop of urban life, in a place where the biggest danger is running out of sunscreen.
Should people be concerned about the credibility of these warnings?
Oh, for crying out loud! This is like worrying about the credibility of a reality TV show contestant when we all know they're just here for the fame and not for any real drama. The warnings sound dramatic, but you have to remember, this is like the boy who cried wolf, except the wolf is a plush toy that looks cute, but can't actually bite. If you're worried about what might happen, perhaps it's time to get your priorities straight, like whether to buy that fifth pair of designer shoes or save for an emergency fund.
How should tourists or residents take this news?
Well, if you're a tourist, just take it as an opportunity for some truly memorable Instagram stories. Look, I was in Dubai during the final airstrike warning. Swipe up for a photo of me in front of the Burj Khalifa looking unbothered. And for the residents, treating this like a typical Tuesday would be wise. If you can survive the shock of the last time your favorite restaurant was as out of your dish, I think you'll manage just fine through this airstrike drama. Just make sure to keep your phone charged for the "oh my God, is it safe to go out" selfies.
So, the U.S. Navy just struck Bandar Abbas, and shocking footage has surfaced. What's your take on this situation?
Ah, the classic tale of a strategic military operation gone viral. It's like a Hollywood blockbuster but with more explosions and fewer CGI dragons. I mean, who doesn't love a little geopolitical drama, right? It's like watching your neighbor argue about lawn care, but with real bombs and international sanctions thrown in. Aren't military interventions just delightful? It seems like the Navy decided to add fireworks night to the calendar. And who needs a barbecue when you have missile launchers? Grab your popcorn.
What do you think the impact of this strike will be on U.S.-Iran relations?
Oh, just a little bump in the road, like the potholes on my way to work that make me question my life choices. This strike is probably going to send diplomatic relations spiraling like a bad roller coaster ride. I can already hear the leaders exchanging angry letters, maybe through a good old-fashioned post service, because that's still the best way to communicate in 2023, right? Who needs diplomacy when you can have military strikes? It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet with a sledgehammer.
What are the major criticisms of the U.S. Navy's actions in this context?
Well, strap in, because the critics are lining up like it's a Black Friday sale. There's always someone ready to shout, "Why don't we just solve this with a nice cup of tea instead?" But no, instead, they hit go on the old military machine. It's like they thought, what's the best way to get our point across? Oh, I know, let's drop some bombs. Is it really surprising? People criticize the Navy for being heavy-handed, but honest, it's like asking a bull in a china shop to be more delicate. The china shop ends up in pieces, and the bull is just confused about what just happened.
How do you think the general public perceives this kind of military action?
Ah, the public perception. It's like trying to predict the weather in April. Completely unpredictable and full of surprises. One minute they're cheering for the troops, and the next, they're asking, why can't we just have a nice picnic instead? The whole not in my backyard attitude tends to kick in when the bombs start dropping. People want peace until someone suggests actual peace talks instead of missiles. Then suddenly, it's let's just throw money at it and hope it goes away. Classic.
Are there any long-term ramifications we should be concerned about?
Long-term ramifications? Oh, you mean like the consequences of eating that extra slice of pizza? Sure, we're in for a treat. This strike could very well turn into a diplomatic soap opera that lasts longer than my grandfather's stories about the good old days. The ones that never really existed? Expect a lot of finger-pointing, blame-shifting, and of course, A spike in oil prices, because nothing screams happy ending like watching your wallet get slimmer while tensions rise. The only thing that's certain is that this will stir the pot, and while it's boiling, I hope the world's ready for some spicy drama.
What do you think will happen next in this ongoing situation?
Oh, the million-dollar question that nobody has a crystal ball for. It's like trying to guess what's going to happen on the next season of your favorite reality show. Will there be plot twists? More strikes? Maybe a sudden shift into a diplomatic musical? You never really know. But rest assured, whatever happens next will likely be as predictable as a Hollywood sequel. Bigger explosions, more dramatic turns, and let's throw in some political intrigue just to keep it interesting. Spoiler alert. No one wins, especially not the viewers.
So, what's this news about Iran's air defense system making a scene over Chitkar Lake?
Well, apparently, Iran decided to take a break from their usual shenanigans and put on a little fireworks show. I mean, who doesn't love a good aerial display right over a lake? It's like the Red Bull of air defense systems, only without the energy drink and a lot more not-so-subtle military might. Just picture it, families trying to enjoy a leisurely day out, only to be interrupted by anti-aircraft missiles shooting over their heads. The ultimate way to ruin a picnic, if you ask me.
What do you think the implications are of showcasing their air defense in such a public way?
Ah, yes, nothing in screams. We're prepared for anything, quite like having a flashy defense system out in the open for everyone to see. It's like putting a giant neon sign in your front yard that says, "I have a tiger, and it's definitely still alive." Iran seems to be flexing those military muscles in a classic case of, "Look what we can do, don't mess with us." Because nothing says peace and diplomacy like a display of firepower that could rival a 4th of July celebration on steroids.
What do you think goes through the minds of the citizens watching this spectacle?
Well, if I were a citizen there, I'd probably be torn between two thoughts. Wow, look at that. And is this the beginning of the end? It's kind of like watching an intense action movie while simultaneously praying you're not the one getting shot at. I can just imagine someone saying, "Honey, do you want to watch Netflix tonight? Or shall we just enjoy the air show with a side of impending doom?" Because nothing says normal day like watching military jets dance overhead.
Do you think there's a risk of miscommunication or accidents during these drills?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a game of telephone, but instead of a missed message about your lunch order, you have planes zooming around like they're practicing for the air version of Dancing with the Stars. One wrong move, and suddenly you've gone from a harmless exercise to a scene straight out of a disaster movie. Imagine the headlines. Air defense accidentally invites foreign drone to the party. That wouldn't end well for anyone involved. Unless, of course, it was a surprise party they were hoping for.
How could this event affect international relations in the region?
Well, you know how it is. One country shows off its big guns, and the others start to feel a bit insecure. It's like watching your neighbor buy a brand new luxury car, while you're still trying to make peace with your beat-up old sedan. It could very well lead to some countries thinking, "We need to get bigger guns too." It's the classic keeping up with the Joneses, but with missiles instead of lawnmowers. I mean, who knew the arms race would be the hottest new trend in international relations?
What's your take on how the media is covering this event?
Oh, the media is just having a ball with this one. It's the kind of stuff journalists live for, shiny explosions and military might, all wrapped up in a ribbon of drama. Forget about reporting on boring things like economics. Give them air defenses over a lake any day. It's like they found the perfect clickbait. Iran's new attraction? Terror and triumph over Lake Chitgar. I mean, who wouldn't tune in for that? It's basically a reality show, minus the Kardashians, but with way more missiles and absolutely no commercial breaks.
So, the US has launched airstrikes on Iranian ports. Can you break down the implications of this for us?
Well, host, it seems we've decided to turn the waters of the Persian Gulf into a game of battleship. The implications are as clear as mud. Geopolitical tensions are now at a level that makes Mount Everest look like a gentle hill. I mean, nothing says, we're all friends here, quite like bombarding your neighbor's backyard. Economically, think of it as a really ineffective neighborhood watch with a penchant for fireworks. It's like throwing a huge party and then complaining about the noise. Except the party is an international crisis, and the noise is, well, bombs.
What do you think this means for US-Iran relations moving forward?
Ah, yes, US-Iran relations, or as I like to call it, the world's worst long-term relationship. Honestly, at this point, it's like watching a couple who can't decide if they want to break up or just keep arguing over who left the toilet seat up. After these airstrikes, we can expect more heated discussions, you know, the kind that usually involves heavy artillery instead of heartfelt apologies. Buckle up, folks. The drama is about to escalate, and I can't wait for the next episode of As the Bombs Drop.
How do you think the international community will react to these airstrikes?
Oh, the international community. It's like a group of friends who never really liked each other, but still throw potlucks together for appearances. I can already see the UN convening with their stern faces, passing around the displeased cookies while trying to look diplomatic. Expect some strong words and maybe a metaphorical slap on the wrist, but nothing too drastic because, let's be honest, nobody wants to be the one who accidentally starts World War III while trying to call dibs on the last slice of pizza.
Many are concerned about the humanitarian aspects of the airstrikes. What are your thoughts on that?
Humanitarian concerns? Oh, isn't that sweet? Kind of like bringing a fruit basket to a demolition derby. It's great in theory, but in practice, it's usually overshadowed by the sound of crunching metal and shattered hopes. People are going to get hurt, and while we might send some aid packages later, it's like putting a band-aid on a gaping wound. It's a classic case of, let's help once the fireworks are over, but unfortunately, those fireworks tend to leave a lasting impression, and not the good kind.
What are some potential risks involved with these escalated actions?
Oh, let's not beat around the bush here. The risks are as plentiful as a buffet at an all-you-can-eat restaurant. First off, there's the chance of retaliation. Think of it like poking a bear just because you wanted to see it do a backflip. Then, there's the possibility of drawing in allies, which, spoiler alert, rarely goes smoothly. It's like trying to get your friends to join in on a prank without realizing one of them is a total wimp. Ultimately, this could lead to a geopolitical jam so thick, you'd think they were trying to spread peanut butter with a chainsaw.
Finally, what's your take on the long-term effects of this conflict?
Long-term effects? Well, if history has taught us anything, we can expect a lot of hand-wringing and finger-pointing. With a side of economic turmoil, it's like a bad relationship that ends, with both parties swearing they'll never talk again, but somehow keep bumping into each other at social events, awkwardly sipping punch. Economically, countries will be scrambling to stabilize themselves, while leaders use it as an opportunity to rally their bases. Because hey, what's a little conflict between friends? So, in short, grab your popcorn and settle in, because this saga has more twists and turns than a daytime soap opera.
So, it seems like Iran's foreign ministry has a new warning that we shouldn't mistake a lion's teeth for a smile. What do you make of that?
Ah, yes, because nothing says welcome like a reminder that you're staring down the mouth of a potentially hungry lion. I mean, who needs a gentle approach in diplomacy when you have such vivid imagery? It's like saying, hey, look at that cute puppy. Oh wait, it's actually a wolf in disguise. Honestly, if they put this on a t-shirt, I'd buy it. Maybe we should start advising people not to confuse a bear's hug for a warm greeting while we're at it.
Does this imply that there might be some tension brewing in Iran?
Tension? Brewing? Oh, you mean like a perfect storm in a teacup? Except the teacup is made of glass and the storm is an actual hurricane? Because sure, why not? It's not like we haven't been on the edge of our seats waiting for the next geopolitical sitcom. With lines like this, they might as well send out invitations to their own season finale, where we all collectively gasp and clutch our pearls.
What do you think is the strategy behind such bold warnings?
Well, it's like a game of poker, but instead of cards, you're dealing with nuclear capabilities and diplomatic relations. So, you throw in a metaphor about lion teeth to remind everyone that the stakes are high and hurt feelings don't lead to dinners at fancy restaurants. It's the kind of reminder that says, we can play nice, but don't you dare try to pet the lion unless you want your hand bitten off. Honestly, if only they could just send a bouquet instead.
Could this be seen as a way to strengthen their position internationally?
Absolutely. Nothing screams, we're serious about our policies, like comparing your country to a fearsome predator. I mean, it's like bringing a bear to a tea party. You're definitely going to have everyone's undivided attention, but you might also scare away the cupcakes. So yes, they're flexing their metaphorical muscles and making sure everyone knows they're not just a cuddly kitten in this geopolitical jungle.
Are we witnessing a shifting tone in Iran's diplomatic language?
Oh, absolutely. Gone are the days of polite whispers and subtle hints. Now, we're getting roaring declarations that sound like they came straight out of a sequel to a nature documentary. It's like they've discovered the magic of dramatic flair. A real blockbuster moment in international relations. And now, presenting Iran's Diplomacy 2.0. Beware of the lion. Grab your popcorn, folks.
What are the potential impacts of statements like these on international relations?
Well, if history has taught us anything, it's that dramatic statements often lead to drama-worthy repercussions. It's like adding hot sauce to a recipe. Sure, it spices things up, but you might just set off the fire alarm. Countries might start playing musical chairs with their alliances or hide under the dining table, praying not to be next on the lion's menu. So, in short, it's a wild ride, and I suggest everyone wear a helmet.
So, let's dive into this eye-popping headline about Tehran's air defense activity lighting up the sky. What's the scoop?
Ah, yes. Tehran lighting up the night like it's hosting a surprise rave party. And the US is looking like that awkward neighbor trying to peek over the fence. Apparently, the Iranian military decided to play a game of, let's see how many fireworks we can set off without actually going to war. Makes you wonder if they were just bored or if they thought the US needed a little light show to get in the mood for diplomacy. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch some good old-fashioned air defense drills? Nothing says peace talks like flares and missiles, right?
What do you think the US reaction is going to be to this spectacle?
Well, the US is probably sitting there sipping coffee, looking at their phones like, did they really just do that? I hope they don't have any fireworks left for the 4th of July, you know? It's like seeing your rival in a competition suddenly pull out an unexpected skate ramp. You're both impressed and terrified because you have no idea what they're about to do. The US might be crafting some sternly worded tweets, but as always, they'll be in a tight spot like a cat in a bathtub, confused but not quite willing to make a splash.
Do you think this is merely a show of force from Tehran, or is there something deeper going on?
Oh, definitely a show of force. It's like flexing in front of your gym crush while secretly unsure if you can even lift the weights. Tehran's trying to say, hey, look at our muscles, while secretly hoping no one notices they skipped leg day. It's a classic case of, look over here, while we're really just trying to maintain our cardio. Makes you wonder if they're trying to distract us from something else, like a bad hair day or I don't know, a failing economy.
What implications does this have for international relations in the region?
Well, if international relations were a soap opera, this would be the dramatic cliffhanger episode where everyone stares at the screen, gasping in disbelief. It's like Tehran just tossed a grenade into the well-behaved backyard barbecue of diplomacy, and everyone's scrambling for the exit. Countries will be throwing popcorn at each other, while trying to figure out who's really holding the remote control. Let's just say, the diplomatic dance has turned into a game of musical chairs, and no one wants to be left standing when the music stops.
Could we see a change in military strategy from the US after this event?
Oh, you know it. The US is probably sitting there like a chess player whose opponent just flipped the board and declared checkmate. They'd be re-evaluating strategies faster than you can say, Operation Overkill. It's like changing your entire game plan in the middle of Monopoly because your little brother just landed on Boardwalk with a hotel. They might be thinking about ramping up surveillance, getting new toys to play with, or maybe even asking for a bigger budget. Nothing says we're serious like extra funds for more expensive gadgets, right?
What are the potential consequences if tensions escalate further?
Oh, buckle up, because if tensions escalate, we're looking at a roller coaster ride that no one signed up for. It could turn into a literal who has the bigger stick contest, and nobody wants to be caught without a stick. Economic sanctions? Check. Military buildup? Double check. Next thing you know, the whole region could be doing the cha-cha of conflict, and we might just be stuck in the middle like a piñata at a kid's party. Gets hit from both sides and nobody has any idea what's going to spill out. Let's just hope it's not something sticky and explosive.
Unprecedented AA activity unveiled in Western Tehran skies. What does it mean for citizens?
Well, first off, it means that citizens may need to invest in a good pair of binoculars, or perhaps a new hobby in cloud watching, because apparently, the skies are more crowded than a middle school cafeteria at lunch. With all this activity, maybe we should start an AA Appreciation Day, where we all just sit around and stare at the sky in awe, completely ignoring the fact that there's probably some very important business people just trying to get from point A to point B without being spotted by curious onlookers. It's like a game of hide and seek, but instead of kids behind trees, we have military-grade aircraft flying over like they own the place.
How has social media reacted to these sightings?
Oh, you know, social media, it's gone absolutely bananas. Twitter is lighting up like a Christmas tree in July, with hashtags trending faster than hotcakes at a pancake breakfast. People are posting videos that are shakier than a 90s camcorder and making wild claims about UFOs and government conspiracies. It's like the digital version of a neighborhood gossip session, but instead of discussing who let their dog poop on the lawn, they're diving deep into tinfoil hat territory, discussing what the aliens really want with us. Spoiler alert, it's not our social media influencers' diets.
What do experts say about the implications of this military activity?
Ah, yes, the experts. They're the ones who have their PhDs in what the heck is going on, with a minor in let's analyze everything to death. They say that this military activity could mean a few things: increased tensions in the area, or maybe just the military has discovered a new brand of coffee that keeps them wired and ready to fly. It's like a bunch of toddlers on a sugar rush, zooming around the playground, and everyone's left wondering who will be the first to crash into the sandbox. But let's be real. The implications could range from serious national security concerns to just some bored pilots showing off their cool tricks.
Is there a chance this might escalate into something larger?
Oh, absolutely. Because nothing says let's escalate this situation like a bunch of planes buzzing around like angry bees. It's like when you accidentally step on a bee's nest, you thought it was just a casual stroll, and suddenly you're caught in a whirlwind of chaos. But fear not. In the grand scheme of things, it's entirely possible that everyone involved is just trying to get their daily exercise in. After all, who doesn't enjoy a good flyover workout routine? And we're all just left here, popcorn in hand, waiting to see if this becomes a blockbuster hit or a total flop.
What are the citizens saying about these developments?
Citizens, as you can imagine, are reacting like cats trying to catch a laser pointer, mostly confused, a bit excited, and hoping to snag a glimpse of something interesting before it disappears. Some are staying calm, sipping their tea, and pretending they're not watching the skies like a hawk, while others are throwing their hands up in despair like they've just lost a game of Monopoly. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new trend of people organizing sky-watching parties, complete with snacks and conspiracy theory bingo, because if the skies are going to get heated, might as well make it a social event, right?
So, there's been an attack on Bahman Keshem port and apparently no fire or smoke. What do you make of that?
Well, it's like throwing a surprise party for a mime. You expect drama, noise, maybe even some colorful balloons, but instead, you get a whole lot of silence and confusion. They must be running some secret ninja operation over there, because you would think an attack would at least leave some traces, like half-eaten snacks or something. But here we are, investigating an event that sounds more like an unsolved mystery than a headline.
What does it say about security at Bahman Keshem port if such an attack happens without any signs of chaos?
It says they might be using high-tech invisible shields, or perhaps the attackers are just really good at hide-and-seek. I mean, if I were a guard there, I'd be polishing my imaginary trophy for best watchman ever. It's like they hired a magician for protection. Now you see it, now you don't. Who knew security in ports had turned into a game of Where's Waldo?
Could this incident lead to some serious geopolitical ramifications?
Oh, absolutely. It's the kind of thing that gets diplomats swapping business cards faster than a magician pulls rabbits out of hats. I mean, next thing you know, we'll have countries pointing fingers like kids on a school playground. He did it. No, she did it. Meanwhile, the rest of us are just trying to figure out where we left our snacks during the whole chaos.
How do you think the authorities will respond to this mystery attack?
Oh, you know how it goes. First, they'll call in the experts, who'll probably spend more time taking selfies than actually solving the case. Then, there will be a massive press conference, filled with buzzwords that sound important, but mean absolutely nothing, like robust action and synergistic solutions. At the end of the day, it might all boil down to a really elaborate, "We'll get back to you."
Is there a chance that this whole thing could just be a big misunderstanding?
Oh, for sure. I mean, maybe someone just misread the sign outside the port, "Attack here" instead of "Snack here," and they inadvertently sparked a confusion of epic proportions. Next, we'll find out it was just a group of enthusiastic fishermen trying to catch dinner and they set off a lot of alarms. Talk about a fishing expedition gone wrong.
What's your gut feeling about the investigation going forward?
My gut feeling? Well, I'd say grab some popcorn because it's going to be a long and bumpy ride. It's like watching a mystery show with a plot twist in every episode. Spoiler alert, half the time they won't figure it out until the last 5 minutes, and then it'll be something completely ridiculous. Like someone tripped over a cable and caused a ruckus. If only we could put on our detective hats and solve it over a cup of coffee.
So, Congressman Massey is claiming that the Department of Justice is illegally hiding Epstein records. What's your take on that?
Oh, it's just another Tuesday in the circus that is American politics. I mean, really, who knew the Department of Justice had such a flair for hide and seek? It's like they're playing an adult version of Where's Waldo? But instead, it's Where's the Epstein evidence? Apparently, the only thing more elusive than those records is the notion of accountability. And bless Massey's heart for thinking that legal jargon can stand up in front of a judge like a strong, confident contestant in a beauty pageant. Spoiler alert. It usually trips over its own feet.
Do you think there's a chance those records will ever see the light of day? Considering Massey's statements.
Well, unless the DOJ suddenly decides to host a garage sale for all those hidden files, I wouldn't hold my breath. They're probably locked away with the secrets of the universe and that one sock that disappears in the dryer. Massey's got a point about the law being eternal, but if we've learned anything from government operations, it's that time moves slower than a sloth on a lazy Sunday when it comes to releasing documents. If they don't want to share, they'll probably just apply a thick coat of legal paint and call it a day.
What do you think motivates politicians to keep these records under wraps?
Oh, the age-old game of political chess? It's like hiding the queen and pretending you forgot where you put her. If you release those Epstein documents, you might just find yourself overturning a few chessboards along the way. Imagine the fallout. It's not just about secrets, it's about protecting their own interests. It's like a family reunion where the embarrassing stories stay buried to avoid Aunt Edna's wrath. Who wants to lose all those holiday cookies?
Mass believes the Epstein Transparency Act doesn't expire. What's your opinion on that?
Ah, yes, the timeless classic of political acts, like your grandma's fruitcake that just won't go away. Massey's assertion is refreshingly optimistic, as if he believes every sworn politician really wants to abide by the rules. Just imagine a future attorney general reading that act and thinking, nope, I'll just put that in my to-do later pile, right next to my gym membership. In politics, expiration dates are more like guidelines, flexible, elastic, and mostly imaginary.
How do you think the general public feels about this whole situation?
Honestly, they probably feel like they're watching a soap opera titled, As the DOJ Turns. It's filled with drama, intrigue, and plot twists that make you question whether you're on the right side of sanity. The public is just trying to connect the dots in a painting that looks more like a Jackson Pollock than a carefully curated artwork. People want to know the truth, but it's buried under layers of bureaucracy like last year's holiday decorations. Spoiler alert. It's messy.
Will this issue ever bring real change?
Change in politics is as rare as a unicorn sighting. You can hope and pray all you want, but until we start seeing some politicians actually held accountable, we might just be rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Massey can shout from the rooftops about transparency, but until the system stops treating accountability like a game of hot potato, we're probably going to be stuck in this endless loop of, do we or don't we? Kind of like the indecisive friend at a restaurant.
Are leaders deluded by praise from self-proclaimed artists? A call to reassess cultural integrity.
Oh, absolutely. It's like getting a trophy from a toddler for participating in a three-legged race. Cute, but we all know who's really hopping along. These leaders must love the praise as much as a cat loves a laser pointer. They chase it around thinking it's real, but deep down, they know it's just a speck of light that means absolutely nothing. We really should reassess what's considered art these days, because if self-proclaimed artists keep setting the bar, we're all going to end up in a gallery full of potato sculptures and glitter explosions.
Why do you think leaders may be drawn to compliments from these artists?
It's like handing out candy to a child. They get all giddy and forget about the impending stomachache. Leaders bask in those sweet, sugary affirmations, not realizing they're likely feeding on the empty calories of inflated egos. Who needs a well-rounded debate when you can have a round of applause from someone wearing capes and calling themselves a visionary? It's a bit like taking advice on global warming from someone who can't find their way out of a paper bag. You just have to wonder if they're in it for the praise, or if they genuinely think that saying, "You're amazing," can cure economic downturns.
What are your thoughts on the impact of this behavior on cultural integrity?
Oh, it's a potential disaster zone. You ever seen a toddler with a crayon? Picture that chaos on a cultural level. This behavior is like throwing glitter on a dumpster fire. It might look fun for a second, but ultimately, it's just smoke and mirrors. If we keep applauding every shiny piece of nonsense that comes our way, soon, all we'll have left is a kaleidoscope of cultural confusion. The real artists out there are probably grumbling like an old man at a bingo hall saying, "What in the world happened to creativity?" It's a slippery slope that leads straight to a cultural landfill. One must wonder if anyone is brave enough to clean up this mess.
Do you think there's a way to filter out the art that deserves attention from the stuff that doesn't?
Oh, if only there were a magic wand for that. It's like choosing the good fruit in a bargain bin of rotten apples. The process would require a task force with the discerning tastes of a Michelin star chef and the tenacity of a bulldog. Maybe we could set up a taste test. If you can't explain your art without sounding like an abstract painter lost in a philosophical debate about the color blue, then it's probably best left on that canvas. Let's be real. Some of this stuff out there could put a seasoned cat in a creative coma.
Should leaders be held accountable for endorsing these self-proclaimed artists?
Accountability? Ha! That's like asking a kid to clean their room. It's an uphill battle where nothing gets done. Leaders should perhaps be like a taste-testing judge on a cooking show, spitting out the bad dishes instead of serving them to the masses. But who are we kidding? They probably parade around with these artisanal endorsements, like they're wearing the crown jewels, blissfully unaware that they're endorsing a bunch of watercolors scribbled by kindergartners. It's high time they realize that supporting every artist out there doesn't make them a connoisseur. It just makes them part of the problem.
Can this trend of praising everything possibly lead to a cultural decline?
Oh, absolutely. It's like giving everyone a participation trophy, and then wondering why nobody tries anymore. When mediocrity gets a standing ovation, we might as well start sculpting statues out of spaghetti. And don't get me started on the cultural decline. It's happening faster than a cheetah on roller skates. Soon, we'll be stuck in a reality where the phrase, "That's not art," becomes a relic of the past, replaced by a global gallery of visual puns and interpretive dance-offs. If we keep fawning over every flashy gimmick, we'll be left with a cultural buffet that only serves cold pizza and stale breadsticks. Nobody wants that.
So, We just heard about the Russian East Group rocket system achieving a shocking victory by destroying an enemy drone command post in Zaporozhye. Can you break that down for us?
Oh, absolutely. It's like watching your neighbor finally land a perfect shot in a game of darts after 100 misses. The Russian East Group just took a slingshot and turned it into a national treasure, vaporizing an enemy drone command post like it was a piñata filled with disappointment. I mean, who knew that the secret to military success was just a little bit of rocket science? Now that drone operators are probably wishing they'd opted for a less tragic game of tic-tac-toe instead.
What does this victory mean in the broader context of the ongoing conflict?
In the grand theater of war, this victory is like getting a participation trophy in a world where everyone's trying to be the last person standing. It's a nice little moral boost for the Russian forces while the rest of us sit here munching popcorn, wondering if we should start taking bets on who's going to win this epic game of Risk. But really, it's just a reminder that the drones might be getting a little too cocky, thinking they could boss around the big boys with rockets. Spoiler alert, they can't.
What kind of implications does it have for drone warfare in general?
Oh, it's like giving a laser pointer to a cat. It may work for a while, until the cat loses interest and lays down for a nap. The implications are that drone operators might start updating their LinkedIn profiles with previously operated drone command post, now defunct, as they rethink their life choices. This kind of victory could spark a massive wave of drone upgrades, or maybe just lead to a whole bunch of drones being retired early, like that one sock you lost in the dryer, never to be seen again.
What do you think the reaction will be from the international community?
Oh, the international community? They'll probably react like they just heard the ice cream truck outside. Some will run joyfully to it, while others will grumble about how they didn't bring any money. You've got countries that will cheer Russia on like a fan in the front row at a concert, while others will clutch their pearls and gasp dramatically, lamenting the loss of their favorite drone. Honestly, it's like a soap opera, where every episode ends with a cliffhanger and someone shouting, "But wait, there's more!"
What's the likelihood of more drone command posts being targeted following this event?
Well, if I had to wager, I'd say it's about as likely as me finding my keys when I'm late for something important, nearly impossible, yet somehow a regular occurrence. I mean, you can bet your bottom dollar that every military strategist is dusting off their game manuals, thinking, maybe those drone command posts are not as safe as we once believed. It's like suddenly discovering that your favorite hiding spot for snacks isn't as secure as you thought. You just have to be a lot more creative with your camouflage.
Finally, how do you see this affecting the morale of both sides involved?
Ah, morale. The magic potion that can turn the tide of battle faster than a squirrel chasing a nut. For the Russians, this victory is like a double shot of espresso, full of energy and optimism, making them feel invincible, at least until the caffeine wears off. On the flip side, the other side is probably feeling like they just tripped over a speed bump in a race, questioning their life choices and wondering if perhaps they should invest in some better drone insurance. In the end, both sides will need to keep their spirits high, like a couple of tightrope walkers in a circus, because, in this game, one misstep can send you tumbling down.
So, it looks like the US is deploying KC-135 RTE and KC-46A aircraft over the UAE. What's the deal with that?
Well, you know how we all feel when someone starts reorganizing the furniture in our living room? That's basically what the US military is doing, but on a much grander scale. While we're still trying to find the remotes, deploying aircraft like the KC-135 RTE and KC-46A over the UAE is like putting out the big guns in a game of Monopoly when someone just landed on boardwalk with a hotel. It sends a signal, sure, but it also makes you wonder just how expensive this game is getting. With tensions rising, it's like everyone is waiting for the referee to blow the whistle, but instead, we just have a bunch of jets waiting for someone to roll the dice.
Do you think there's a reason for these heightened tensions? What's really at play here?
Oh, absolutely. It's like trying to figure out why your cat suddenly decides to knock over your favorite vase right when you're about to drink your morning coffee. There are always layers and motives that would make an onion cry. The Middle East has been like a soap opera for decades. It's full of drama, unexpected twists, and just when you think it's calmed down, boom! A new plot twist. The US deployment is like a dramatic cliffhanger, but instead of a "to be continued" sign, we just get more military presence. It's kind of like when your Wi-Fi signal drops right before you can binge watch the next episode of your favorite show. Frustrating and puzzling.
Military deployments often come with a lot of strategic thinking. What do you think the strategy could be here?
Strategies in military terms always sound so much cooler than in our daily lives, don't they? If my boss called me in for a strategic meeting, I'd expect to sit in a dimly lit room planning how to best avoid more work. However, military strategy is more like chess, but with pieces that could actually blow up the board if you make a wrong move. The thinking here could involve establishing a presence to deter potential bad behavior, kind of like when you put up a "Beware of Dog" sign, even if your dog is a 5-pound Chihuahua who thinks barking loudly is the equivalent of a military parade. They want to make sure everyone knows they're serious, and hoping no one wants to take the risk of crossing the line, lest they face the wrath of a KC-46A swooping in.
How does this deployment impact the relationship between the US and the UAE?
Oh, it's akin to that moment in a romantic comedy when one partner suddenly starts bringing up marriage after just a few dates. Awkward and a bit intense. The US and UAE have had a long-standing relationship, but when jets start flying overhead, it's like a sudden declaration of commitment. The UAE might appreciate the protection, but they could also feel like they just got a ring they didn't ask for. It brings up questions of sovereignty and partnership. Does the US have their back, or are they just trying to make sure no one messes with their favorite play area? In any case, it can stir the pot and make things a tad spicy, perhaps just a bit too spicy for comfort.
With military presence comes media attention. How will the media play into this situation?
If there's one thing the media loves more than a good scandal, it's a military deployment. It's like throwing a surprise party, but instead of cake, you get a front-row seat to jet fighter acrobatics. The reporters will be circling like vultures, waiting to see what juicy details they can snag. Expect headlines that read something like, "US military flexes muscles," or "Tensions soar," because nothing captures our attention better than a little drama. It's a spectacle, and let's not forget the 24/7 commentary from armchair generals across the globe, many who probably haven't even stepped outside their comfort zone, let alone into a cockpit. And don't get me started on social media. Every tweet will be treated like it's the next great revelation in military strategy.
In the end, what do you think we should take away from all of this?
Well, the takeaways is a bit like ordering your favorite dish at a restaurant. You think you know what you're getting, but it could come with a side of chaos or a dash of unexpected consequences. The US deploying these aircraft over the UAE is a reminder that global politics is one big, unpredictable game of Jenga. You pull one piece, like military action, and hope the whole tower doesn't come crashing down. It teaches us that while we may want to follow the news like it's a new Netflix series, it's actually a complicated, real-life drama that involves real stakes. So buckle up, folks, because this ride is likely to get bumpier, And remember to bring your popcorn.
So, Iran's security chief is warning about repeating mistakes. What's your take on that?
Well, isn't that a classic case of the pot calling the kettle black? It's like saying, hey, you keep poking the bear, and all you're gonna get is a bear that's a little more upset. I mean, should we be bowing down to a country with maritime rules that sound like they're crafted by a toddler in a sandbox? But hey, if they feel like a stronger reaction might help, I'm all for them trying. It's like watching a cat chase its own tail, amusing but fundamentally misguided.
What kind of mistakes do you think he's referring to?
Oh, the usual suspects, like playing chicken with warships or trying to teach your grandmother how to use social media. It's never a good idea. When countries engage in these petty squabbles, it's like watching two toddlers fight over who gets the last cookie. Spoiler, neither of them is really winning, and we're all just left with crumbs and a whole lot of noise.
Do you think this warning will actually change anything?
If I had a dime for every time a government warning led to real change, I'd be richer than a cat in a room full of laser pointers. It's like placing a sign that says, "Do not feed the bears," and then wondering why the bears are still hanging around at the picnic. Short answer: no. It probably won't change a thing, except maybe getting a few laughs at the inevitable disasters that follow.
What should the international community do in response to these warnings?
Ah, the international community. That delightful group that's like a dysfunctional family reunion, where everyone's got opinions but no one wants to do the dishes. They could either respect the new maritime rules or just laugh and keep sailing their ships around, like they're in a bad game of Battleship. But let's face it, navigating international waters is about as easy as herding cats, who all have very different ideas about where they want to go.
Could this lead to an escalation in tensions, do you think?
If tensions were a balloon, we might be seeing some serious inflation here. It's like everyone's just waiting for that one person to pop it, and we all know how that ends. Chaos, flying debris, and everyone acting shocked when it happens. The real question is whether anyone's going to bring the needle this time, or are we just going to stand around looking awestruck as the inevitable disaster unfolds?
Lastly, do you think Iran really expects the world to listen to its maritime rules?
Expecting the world to listen to Iran's maritime rules is like expecting a cat to follow a leash, entertaining but ultimately unrealistic. It's always cute when someone thinks they have the authority to dictate terms, but reality has a funny way of reminding us who really holds the power in these situations. Spoiler: it's not the country sending out warning shots while everyone else is busy eating popcorn and watching the show.
Explosive sounds near Keshem Island spark speculation of airstrike on local port facilities. So, what's the current buzz around that?
Well, it seems like the only thing louder than those explosion sounds is the speculation that follows them, like a pack of hungry hyenas after a fresh kill. Local sources are throwing around terms like airstrike and aviation mayhem faster than I can find my socks in the morning. Meanwhile, the local authorities are playing it cool, saying it's just the air defense systems getting a little overzealous with their morning workout. Because, let's be honest, who doesn't enjoy a good firework display at dawn, right? But without an official statement, we're left with nothing but wild theories and a whole lot of popcorn. Grab your seats, folks. This could get entertaining.
What are some of the more outlandish theories circulating about this incident?
Oh, you'd be surprised. There's always someone who thinks it's just a covert operation by the local pizza delivery guy, trying to spice up his routine. But the most popular theory right now seems to be that it's aliens testing their new sonic blasters. If it were aliens, I'd advise them to focus on making intergalactic peace rather than drive a bunch of locals into a frenzy. And of course, there's the classic conspiracy theory, where everyone thinks it's a government stunt to distract us from the real issues, like having a fridge full of food but no snacks. Honestly, if I hear one more dramatic theory, I might just start believing in Bigfoot being behind all of this.
How are local residents reacting to the sounds and the uncertainty surrounding them?
Oh, you can imagine. It's like throwing a surprise party for people who specifically told you they hate surprises. Some are probably peeking out their curtains, half expecting to see a military parade or a marching band going by, while others are more concerned about the potential damage to their Wi-Fi connection thanks to those delightful explosions. The locals are living in a suspense thriller without the popcorn, just the heart palpitations. I mean, who wouldn't be tense with all this uncertainty? It's the perfect recipe for a local gossip fest, with everyone piecing together the latest news from a game of telephone that started with, "Did you hear a bang?" and ended with, "I hear they're shooting cannons at the local ducks."
Is there any indication of who might be behind these sounds?
Ah, the million-dollar question, or as I like to call it, who's the mystery guest at this explosive party? Local authorities are playing the classic game of guess who, but without any actual clues. Some say it's the air defense systems just flexing their muscles, like a teenager trying to show off at the gym, while others are peeking over the conspiracy wall, whispering about foreign powers getting a little too friendly with their toys. Let's face it, trying to figure this out is like trying to find the last slice of pizza at a party. Everyone wants it, but nobody knows where it's gone. And until someone officially claims responsibility, we're left with the delightful confusion of a toddler in a ball pit.
What's the likelihood that this was just a drill, rather than an actual conflict?
Well, if this were a drill, then someone clearly went overboard with the sound effects. It's like calling a fire drill, where everyone brings marshmallows instead of extinguishers. But, in all seriousness, there's always a chance that it was just a practice run to remind everyone that yes, they do have defense systems, and yes, they can make a noise louder than your neighbor's lawnmower at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. It's a bit like the boy who cried wolf. If they keep simulating attacks without anything coming of it, eventually, I'll be the one rolling my eyes and saying, "Right, next time, bring the popcorn." You never know though. The line between a drill and a real situation can be as thin as my patience when the Wi-Fi goes down.
What should we keep an eye on moving forward regarding this situation?
Oh, the whole situation is like watching a soap opera, where the plot twists come faster than I can bake cookies. First off, we definitely need to keep an ear out for any official confirmations or denials. Because I'm getting the feeling that my ears are about to be assaulted by a barrage of press releases any moment now. Also, keep an eye on social media. It's like the Wild West out there, with every cowboy and cowgirl updating us on the latest scoop, while adding their own dramatic flair. And of course, watch for how the local authorities respond. If they start handing out free earplugs, then we may need to start worrying. In the meantime, I suggest everyone stock up on snacks, because if this spirals into something more, we'll need our energy for the upcoming news marathons.
So, Egypt's president just confirmed that Rafale fighters have been deployed in the UAE. What's the big deal about military readiness in the region?
Oh, just another Tuesday in the Middle East. It's like a bunch of school kids showing off their new toys, but instead of action figures, they've got fighter jets. Hey, look at my Rafale. Isn't it shiny? Military readiness is just a fancy way of saying, we're ready to play chicken with our neighbors. Because nothing says peace like a well-armed air force, right?
What do you think prompted this sudden military show of force?
Well, one can only assume that someone heard a rumor about how great it is to flex your military muscle. Maybe it's the geopolitical equivalent of posting gym selfies? I mean, having fighter jets in your backyard is like saying, I can lift more than you. But in reality, it could just be an elaborate way to distract everyone from other pressing issues. Like maybe the economy. Because nothing screams we've got it all together, like having more planes than your neighbors.
Is there any historical context to this kind of military collaboration between Egypt and the UAE?
Ah, history. That endless parade of, did you know we were best buds? Moments. Egypt and the UAE have been trading military tips like kids trading Pokemon cards for a while now. It's a classic case of, you scratch my back, I'll send some jets your way. Historically, they've both been on the same, let's not let things get out of hand page, which is comforting. Until you realize the book is called How to Avoid the Next Big Conflict, a comedy of errors.
What kind of impact could this have on regional tensions?
Oh, you know, the usual. It's like tossing a rock into a pond and pretending you're just trying to create some ripples. Everyone's going to be watching each other's moves like hawks. Tensions could either escalate, causing more drama than a reality TV show, or they could realize that having too many jets in the air isn't great for the local bird population. Either way, someone's bound to try to outdo the other, like a high-stakes poker game where the chips are made of missiles.
Do you think this decision is more about defense or posturing?
Honestly, it's like when you wear sunglasses indoors. You look cool, but it's probably more about how you want others to perceive you. It's a blend of both. On one hand, yes, they want to bolster defenses, but on the other, it's all about saying, look, we're tough guys. It's the high school version of flexing in the gym, but with jets instead of muscles. Who doesn't want to show off a little? Meanwhile, the neighbors are peeking through the curtains, thinking, great, now we've got to step up our game.
What can the international community expect from this development?
Oh, you can expect a whole lot of chatter. It's like everyone's suddenly becoming an armchair general. Diplomats will be furiously texting each other, and analysts will inevitably drop their coffee when trying to predict the next move. It's like a geopolitical chess game, except instead of pawns, you have fighter jets. So, brace yourself for a lot of debates, more headlines, and about 1,000,000 think pieces. Because nothing excites the international community quite like the idea of military jets dancing around in the skies like they're at a gala.
So, it looks like Iran's air defense is gearing up because of reports of enemy drones over Tehran's skies. What's the deal with that?
Ah yes, nothing says, welcome to my city quite like a swarm of enemy drones buzzing around, like they're auditioning for a role in the next Fast and Furious franchise. I mean, who doesn't want to decorate their skyline with the latest in airborne espionage? But hey, on the bright side, at least it gives the air traffic controllers something to talk about at their next coffee break. You know, hey, Dave, how was your day managing the drone traffic? Got any fun stories? It's a real-life thriller over there.
Are these enemy drones really a significant threat, or is it just a dramatic headline?
Oh, it's definitely a headline that would make a dramatic movie poster. Picture this, enemy drones, the return of the unwelcome guests. But seriously, it's like watching someone try to scare away seagulls with a broom. It might look intense, but let's be honest, it's just a bunch of guys in a control room trying to impress their bosses. The drones might be threatening, but at least they're not falling out of the sky like a poorly made drone from a discount store.
What does Iran's response say about their current defense posture?
Well, it's quite the bold statement, isn't it? It's like showing up to a knife fight with a bazooka. Maybe a little overkill, or in their case, over-defense. It says they're not just playing around. They want everyone to know that their airspace is as protected as a celebrity's phone number. You better believe those drones got a warning. You have entered a no-fly zone. Please turn back or face the wrath of the Iranian air defense. It's like the best security system you can have, aside from installing a moat filled with alligators, of course.
Do you think the situation could escalate? Or is this just more posturing?
The age-old debate of show versus blow. It's like watching two cats on a fence, both hissing and puffing up, but neither really wanting to jump down and start a fistfight. A lot of noise with very little action. I mean, come on. Escalation would imply everyone's finally gotten bored with Netflix and wants to dive headfirst into a real-life action movie. But let's be real, diplomatic back and forths are the name of the game here. We're more likely to see them arguing about drone snacks than actually launching any missiles. So, grab your popcorn, and let's enjoy the show.
What role does media play in how these situations are perceived?
Oh, the media? They're like that friend who always turns a small get-together into a full-blown gala. You know the type. They take one buzz from a drone, and suddenly it's a full-scale war. Remember, in the age of 24-hour news cycles, every beep and boop from a drone becomes a headline worthy of a soap opera. Days of Our Lives, The Drone Chronicles. It's all about keeping eyeballs glued to screens, folks. It's like they're trying to sell the latest gossip rather than just giving us the facts. But hey, who doesn't love a little drama mixed with their breakfast news?
As a closing thought, what do you think the future holds for drone warfare in this region?
Oh, the future? It's looking just as bright as a pink unicorn flying through a rainbow. Drone warfare is like the new kid on the block. Everyone's trying to impress, and some are just trying not to trip over their own shoelaces. This region is like a tech-savvy playground where everyone's bringing their latest toys. So, buckle up, folks. Just when we thought we'd reached peak drone, there's bound to be another tech upgrade that turns neighborly spying into a high-stakes game of sky hide-and-seek. Who knows? Maybe the next big thing will be drone delivery services for snacks. Because what better way to wage war than with a side of nachos?